9, hang on, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News Special. Tonight we will have live match updates from the Champions League, EFL and the local non-league football. Alongside me in the studio tonight we have Louis Moore reporting on Liverpool versus Inter Milan in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. Carl Poke Elms will be covering our other Champions League game tonight as RB Salzburg look to cause an upset by knocking out Bayern Munich to make the quarter-finals. Sticking with football, Jake Clements will be watching Sheffield United take on Middlesbrough with a chance for the winner to climb as high as 4th in the table. And in League One, Tom Reed will be watching over Plymouth as they take on AFC Wimbledon. Plymouth currently sit just 2 points off the playoff spots with 2 games in hand. With just 15 minutes until kickoff, let's get some updates and team news from our championship clash. Jake, are there any changes for either side?
There's one change for Sheffield United tonight as Osborne comes in for his first league start since November. He comes in for Siriki. Middlesbrough have 4 changes tonight with Balogun and the main person falling to the bench. Sheffield United are unbeaten in their previous 3 games with only 1 loss in 5. They did lose the return leg on September 28th to Middlesbrough at the Riverside. Middlesbrough beat promotion rivals Luton 2-1 last weekend, and they also beat Tottenham in the FA Cup the week before that, so they're in a good run of form at the minute. Top goal scorer Matt Crooks scored in last weekend's game, so he'll be hoping to continue his good run of form tonight.
Okay, that's perfect. Now we're going to head over to Plymouth versus Wimbledon with our commentator for tonight's game, Tom Reed. Are there any changes for the Plymouth teams, or how's the lineup looking?
Argyle are unchanged since their 2-0 win over Morecambe on Saturday. The most notable thing about their team is Ryan Broom keeps his spot in central midfield over Panucci Kamara. He had a great game against Morecambe, getting an assist for the first goal. Kamara really hasn't looked the same in central midfield since he's come back from African Cup of Nations, where he was with Guinea-Bissau. And as for Wimbledon, they have made 2 changes at the back with Soka and Alexander coming in, hoping to shore up the defence.
Okay, now on to a much tighter tie between Bayern Munich and RB Salzburg. Lewandowski's got 28 goals in all competitions this season. Kyle, does he start tonight?
Yes, of course, Robert Lewandowski will start in one of Bayern's biggest games of this season. In terms of the lineups, it's fairly similar lineups from the first leg that happened in Salzburg that ended in a 1-1 draw. Salzburg have only made 1 change from the first meeting. Goal scorer Junior Adamuma is in from the start this time after he was introduced early in the first leg. That's for the injured Noah Akafu, who remains out with a knee injury. Bayern also only making 1 change. Promising youngster Jamal Musiala comes in to replace Corentin Tolisso in the midfield after the Frenchman suffered a thigh injury. Salzburg go into this game only lost once in their last 13 games in all competitions. They're bossing their domestic league, 18 points clear at the top of the Austrian Bundesliga. Bayern obviously heavy favourites for this fixture. It would be a big shock if Salzburg can defeat them. It'll be the first time an Austrian team has reached the quarterfinals since 1984-85 season. But yeah, like I say, Robert Lewandowski, second top goal scorer, he's in from the start and will be looking to make a big impact on this tie.
On to our other Champions League game now. Louis, obviously Liverpool hosting Inter Milan tonight. Is it a full-strength Liverpool side? Obviously we know they won the first leg 2-0, but how's the team looking tonight?
Yeah, Liverpool have really not held back despite being 2-0 up in this tie. Only 2 changes for Jurgen Klopp's side since the last one. Curtis Jones comes into midfield to replace Harvey Elliott and he's partnered alongside a world-class midfield with Thiago and Fabinho. Ahead of them, Mane, Jota and Salah will be trying to get on the score sheet and try to defend the clean sheet and keep the 2-0. Andrew Robertson starts at left-back, Van Dijk and Matip, who comes in for Konate, at centre-back, Alexander-Arnold at right-back and Alisson in goal. Surprisingly for Inter Milan, Alexis Sanchez replaces Edin Dzeko, a familiar face to the Liverpool back line as he played in the Premier League a number of seasons ago. And he plays up front with Lautaro Martinez. The wing-back tonight, Inzaghi has gone for Perisic and Dumfries as the wing-backs. It'll be interesting to see what Perisic can do against Alexander-Arnold. Obviously a bit of skill on the ball, you never know. Barella is suspended for this leg, so Çalhanoğlu comes in midfield with Brozovic and Vidal next to him. And Bastoni, De Vrij and Skriniar make up the back three, and Handanovic starts in goal for Inter Milan. It's got all the recipes to be a great game.
It sure has. Now, I'm delighted to say, joining me in the studio ahead of Real Madrid's clash tomorrow night with PSG, we've got Catalonian football journalist and commentator Jordi Sunya Capella. Jordi, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me on. It's such a pleasure being here.
Okay, brilliant. I just wanted to ask you a few questions ahead of tomorrow night's game. So, obviously, Kylian Mbappe has been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid this summer after he's out of contract at PSG. How likely do you think that is to happen, and how big would that be for Spanish football?
You know how it works with the Spanish football media. They get any hint that Mbappe may come to Real Madrid to generate big headlines. I was reading Marca, the Spanish sports newspaper, minutes ago, and they were saying Mbappe was looking at how the new Bernabeu is developing, and he looks astonished watching the new stadium. So any small detail is being treated like a hint of Mbappe coming. But the thing is, it would be great for La Liga because it would be a way of restoring the prestige of the La Liga brand. You know, in the last few years, even fans in Spain think the Premier League is much better than La Liga. La Liga has lost Messi to Paris Saint-Germain, has lost Cristiano Ronaldo first to Juventus, then to Manchester United. So they need world-class players to restore the brand. So Mbappe coming to Real Madrid, and then, if possible, Erling Braut Haaland coming to Barcelona would be a boost to the image of La Liga. So knowing Real Madrid, knowing Florentino Perez, their president, who's a wealthy man in Spain, it's likely to happen. But, you know, it has been said from so many months ago that Mbappe was to come to Real Madrid, that you never know. We'll have to wait, because Al Khelaifi wants to give him a better offer. Let's see how it develops.
And do you think that if Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe were to come to La Liga next season, what do you think that could be for the impact of the league? Because obviously La Liga has hosted the two best stars on the planet for almost a decade in Messi and Ronaldo together, and obviously they've both left for PSG and Man United respectively. So do you think bringing through perhaps the next two players that are going to be fighting out for the Ballon d'Or maybe for the next 5, 6, 7 years, do you think that's going to add some serious commercial value back to La Liga?
Of course, because you know, these days football, world-class football, it has become a thing about brands. Players are brands, world-renowned brands. So you need this brand in order to enhance your own brand, which is La Liga. So, as I was saying, in the last few years, the feeling is that Premier League is doing things more correctly than La Liga is doing, because they have many international players in all their squads. You look at some La Liga teams, at some La Liga rosters, and they only have Spanish players or internationals from countries which are not, let's say, first row or first level or second level countries. So level has dropped. Level of football in La Liga has dropped. There's that big difference between the teams that are competing in European competitions like Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid or Villarreal or even Barcelona now in the Europa League, and the other ones. Maybe I don't know. Southampton could be able to thrash the likes of Getafe or Granada or whatever. That's the difference. So bringing these two great world-class players, of course, for the Brown La Liga, that would be massive.
And what do you think the chance of a Spanish team winning the Champions League this season? Obviously, there's Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid left. Atletico currently drawing 1-1 with Man United ahead of the second leg, and obviously Real Madrid trailing 1-0. But if either of those sides were to get through to the next round, how do you fancy their chances going forward?
About Real Madrid, know always how to win. Maybe they don't play the most beautiful game. They can't play a counter-attacking game. They can't play a defensive game. But I read a statement by a Spanish coach, a Spanish manager, Pepe Mel, who coached Las Palmas and Betis, in an interview last weekend, and he said, Real Madrid teaches you how to win. Barcelona teaches you how to play. So Real Madrid in this competition, Champions League is Real Madrid's competition. They have won it 13 times because Champions League is all about details. It's a free kick, it's a penalty, it's an error, it's a defensive flaw, whatever. So even if they are trailing 1-0 behind, it's at the Bernabeu. They are on an 8-match unbeaten run in La Liga. Paris Saint-Germain lost their 2 last away games in Ligue 1. They lost against Nantes and they lost against Nice this last weekend. And against Nice, they were playing with Messi and Neymar up front. So let's see how they do at the Bernabeu, because Paris Saint-Germain looks like a divided team, let's say. Up front, they have the best talent in the world. They have Messi, they have Neymar, they have Kylian Mbappe, but they have obvious flaws in defense and even in midfield. Real Madrid is a more compact team, even if for this match they lose Casemiro. Casemiro is such an important player for Real Madrid. He gives balance to the midfield. Of course, they have Toni Kroos again after his muscular injury, but losing Casemiro, it's important because he's also such an important player in set pieces. He scores many goals from set pieces, and in a Champions League game, that could be important if a match is still 0-0 at the, let's say, 70th minute or 75th. So it will be quite a great match to watch. I wouldn't give a result because anything can happen, but Real Madrid, how to play this kind of game. So I think anything is possible. And of course, Real Madrid, if they win tomorrow, if they prevail tomorrow, they can't win the Champions League for sure.
Thank you, Jordi. Thank you for coming on. So potentially 2 Spanish teams heading into the next Champions League round if they are to beat their current teams. Now, we've got an interesting development. Sajid Rahman is at Exeter versus Swindon, and he's going to give us some team news and some updates ahead of kickoff. Saj, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys? Here at St James's Park, where it's completely bouncing here. The atmosphere is electric here as we set up for a promotion fight between Exeter and Swindon right now. The players have just stepped out onto the pitch, and we're about to get underway. Some big headline news is that Swindon Town are without their talisman, Harry McCurdy, who rose to fame when he scored against Man City in the 3rd round of the FA Cup this season. They're without him because he picked up the 10th yellow card of the season at the weekend against Bradford City, which means he'll have to sit out for 2 matches, one of which being here. I'm going to have to go now because there's a moment silence, so I will see you in a bit.
Okay, thank you, Saj. Cheers for that update. The teams are now heading out in the games in the Championship. Sheffield United and Middlesbrough lining up ahead of the game. There's plenty of other games tonight. We've got coverage at Coventry versus Luton, Swansea versus Fulham. We've even got people at Salisbury Town versus Tiverton Town and AFC Tottenham versus Eastleigh. Fareham Town versus Hamble Club. There is also games later on in the week. Geordie, if you're able to give me a few more thoughts, I'm quite keen to know your thoughts. West Ham taking on Sevilla in the Europa League this Thursday. How do you think West Ham are going to get on against that? Because obviously it's their first time in Europe in a while, and what can they expect?
They can't expect a team which was some months ago likely to challenge even Real Madrid for La Liga title because they were doing so well. But Sevilla has had problems with injuries. And let's see what happens because Sevilla have been playing really well in La Liga. But like other teams in the top positions, apart from Real Madrid and Barcelona, Sevilla are dropping points, Betis are dropping points, Real Sociedad are dropping points. Real Sociedad was playing really well, for example, in the first half of the season, and they got kicked out of the UEFA Europa League by Red Bull Leipzig. So West Ham is also playing very well under David Moyes, so they got a chance. They got a chance, even if Sevilla has got really good players. They have Mexican Jesus Corona, Tecatito Corona, brought from Porto with lots of Champions League experience. Ivan Rakitic, former Barcelona player, is doing very well. They have an experienced defensive line with Diego Carlos, with Koundé. Diego Carlos was near to completing a move to Newcastle in the last January transfer window. So it is a Champions League team. The only thing is that they have been dropping points in the last stages of La Liga. Exactly, they have drawn 5 of the last 7 games in La Liga. So they have lost Real Madrid out of sight. Nearly they're not able to challenge for the Liga title anymore. But anyway, they are such a good team, and they cause problems to West Ham, of course.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to try and head to the Liberty Stadium, where George Rees-Julian and Barnaby Page are hopefully going to give us an update on the Swansea-Fulham game. We're just waiting for them to tune in now. Obviously, these are the 7:45 kickoffs in the Championship. The Champions League games will be kicking off at 8 p.m. shortly. It feels like we might have to come back to them because I think they're currently unavailable. They've travelled all the way to Wales for that game, so some journey. But yeah, as I say, we've got people dotted around all around the country tonight, actually, even in Wales, like I say. The 7:45 games have just kicked off in the Championship. Obviously, Middlesbrough against Sheffield United, that is a fight to get into the playoff positions. The winner could go as high as 4th tonight in the table. The Championship playoffs very tight, as they always are towards the end of the season. With a move to the Premier League, obviously huge for any club worth hundreds of millions of pounds. Jake, can you come in on this? How's it looking in the early stages?
Not a lot's happened. We're only about 20 seconds into this game. Just a goal kick for Sheffield United. Now, not a lot's happened really. It's literally just about kicked off, mate.
Okay. And Tom, are you able to give any early updates on the Wimbledon game at all? Plymouth Wimbledon.
Unfortunately, not at the minute. Same as Jake here, it has just kicked off, but I think it is worth to mention, like you mentioned Argyle earlier, they are gunning for promotion right now, whereas Wimbledon are in a complete opposite situation. They're only 1 place and 2 points off the drop zone, so they really, really could do with a point tonight. Argyle's last 10 games after this, however, do seem to be a lot tougher. 7 of their last 10 games are against teams in the top 10, whereas Wimbledon are playing more mid to lower table teams, so they really should be safe, but some points today for them would mean a lot.
Yep, the EFL league's obviously tight as ever. Those playoff spots in particular, obviously in the Championship, Bournemouth and Fulham look to be pulling away in the automatic spots in their fight to get up to the Premier League. However, the Championship playoff spots are highly, highly contested. We have also got Adam Oliver covering the cricket tonight. He's looking at England versus West Indies. We're going to try and go live now to Matt Renton, who is at AFC Totton versus Eastleigh. Matt, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing? How's the game going?
Yeah, good. Pretty end-to-end at the moment there. Loose ball from Tottenham led Eastleigh in, but we managed to get rid of it. Bit of a cagey opening, to be honest. Team just playing in the feet.
Have you got any team news for us regarding that game? Any surprise starts tonight? Hi, sorry, Matt. Any team news tonight for either Eastleigh or AFC Tottenham? Any surprise starts tonight? I think we may have lost connection to Matt. Obviously, we are trying to go live to as many people as possible, but we're going to try and get back in contact with Matt a bit later in the live. We've got Byron up in the studio who is watching Crewe versus Portsmouth in League One, and we've also got Joe Hayhurst covering Bournemouth versus Peterborough. Obviously, there's not expected to be any surprises in that game, with Bournemouth currently second in the table and a few games in hand on Fulham, actually. But Peterborough obviously near the bottom of the table and struggling. We're about 5 or 10 minutes in now to our Championship games and still about 10 minutes away from kick-off in the Champions League ties. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting night of football, that's for sure. Louis, I was wondering if you could give me your thoughts on Liverpool's league form, their chances maybe of winning the Premier League. Obviously, we know Man City are currently top of the table and Liverpool are slightly clear, but I was wondering if you could just obviously give me your thoughts on their chances of winning the league this season.
Well, at some point it seemed like Man City were going to run away with it. But Liverpool have come back in classic Liverpool style, really. Always on the comeback. I think they've got a good chance of winning the league. You know, they're 6 points behind, with a game in hand. And they've got Man City to play in 2 weeks' time. So anything can happen, really. The quadruple is still on for them. Obviously, still in the title race, like we say. The Carabao Cup winners, Champions League playing tonight. They can still win that, and the FA Cup. So they could have a great season ahead of them, probably the best they've had. But in terms of the title, I'm sure it's going to be a close one.
And speaking on that, so top four, obviously, we know Man City and Liverpool are going to be in there, and most likely Chelsea as well. That fourth spot, who do you think is going to take that fourth spot? Obviously, there's currently Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal getting floated about in there. Who do you think is going to take that fourth spot?
It's tough because all three teams I think can nick it at any point and at any time, because there's been so many inconsistencies. But for me, I think Arsenal are just so they just look so good at the moment. I think they'll get it in the end.
I agree. I think it could be Arsenal. We're going to go live now to Swansea City against Fulham, and we're going to be joined by George Rees-Julian. George, can you hear us? I think your mic's on mute. Can you unmute your mic? Unmute your mic.
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. Yeah, I can hear you, although the Swansea fans have been very loud so far.
How's the atmosphere inside the ground? You say the Swansea fans are loud?
Yeah, there's a small pocket of Fulham fans who are making a lot of noise, but I mean the stadium's mainly filled with Swansea fans. It looks like a good turnout for a Tuesday night kickoff.
Okay, any chance you can give us the lineups for the two sides tonight?
Yeah, so Swansea are going up with the same lineup that they played on the weekend, except for one change, because Cyrus Christie's out. He's ineligible as he's on loan from Fulham. So Swansea line up with Andy Fisher in goal, Ryan Manning, Flynn Downs, Ben Cabango, Corey Smith, and Oliver Ncham in defence. Matt Grimes, Michael Obafemi, Jamie Patterson, Joel Piru and Carl Norton make up the rest of the team. Whereas Fulham, they're playing a completely unchanged side from the weekend. They have Rodek, Williams, Tosin Adebayo, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson, Jean-Michel Seri, and Harrison Reed in the midfield, Niskins Cabano, Fabio Cavallo, Alexander Mitrovic, and Harry Wilson make up the attack.
Mitrovic already broken the Championship goal scoring record. Do you expect him to score tonight?
Well, he's got a great record against Welsh sides. He's already scored 6 in his 3 games against Welsh sides, so Swansea and Cardiff this season. He's got a hat-trick against Swansea, in fact, in the 2 sides played earlier in the season. So I think everybody inside this ground knows Mitrovic's history against Welsh teams, so I think everyone's going to be worried about him scoring a goal.
Okay, thanks, George. Thanks for that. Take care. We're now going to go live to Tom Reed. There's been a chance, hasn't there?
Yes, it has been for Wimbledon. Brown made a surging run down the left-hand side and put a beautiful cross in to Cosgrove, whose header just hit the left post. It really has been no one's game so far, so that's really been the biggest chance, but it was very, very close there for Wimbledon. A good effort from Cosgrove.
Okay, and I believe there was also a chance in Sheffield United Middlesbrough, but who for, Jake?
Yeah, there was a half chance for Sheffield United. McNair saw a shot fly over the bar. It wasn't really a testing effort for Fotheringham for Lumley in the Middlesbrough net. But Middlesbrough have had a few half chances as well. But the game's really been played in the middle of the park. It's more of a stalemate affair between 6th and 7th in the Championship. Just waiting for this game to properly get going. We're only 8 minutes in.
A few lively encounters and a few early chances from the Championship and League One. Just 4 minutes now till our kickoff in the Champions League. I can see George looks like he's having a good time at Swansea. No doubt, nice and cold there. But yeah, a cagey start, I believe, from a few of the sides in the Championship. Louis, back to our conversation before. Obviously, I asked you about top 4. Relegation, I'm going to go for now, candidates. Who do you think is going to go down?
Well, if you asked me a couple of weeks ago, it would have been Norwich, but I think Dean Smith's done an excellent job, and they look more secure. I think he might do enough to keep them up. Watford, for me, for certain, going down. Newcastle as well, coming out of the relegation zone. They're doing well at the moment under Eddie Howe. And I think, surprisingly, Everton, that's the big surprise for everyone. They're only 3 points off the drop. A couple games in hand, but for me, I would say Watford, Norwich and Burnley.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, although I think there is a chance that perhaps Sean Dyche could pull off a Dyche miracle, obviously, as we know he does every now and again. On the subject of Newcastle, we're lucky enough tonight that one of our match coverers is actually a Newcastle fan. So, Kyle, just talk to me about, obviously, since the takeover, there's been a big upturn in form. How exciting is it for you as a Newcastle fan to see the way the club's going?
Well, I mean, if you just see our last eight games now, we're unbeaten in 8 fixtures in the league. I think the revival of the club has been nothing short of a miracle from Eddie Howe. I think from where we were before the takeover with Bruce and Mike Ashley, just even players in training, even players have stated in training that it's just up the intensity, and it's proven in the results. I mean, if you'd asked me 2 months ago or even a month ago whether we were going down or not, I would have just said yeah. Like, there was no hope. But now, after the recent run of games, I think it's all not all but done. But there's obviously work to do still. But we are making big strides to survival, and I think we're bringing other teams into it, like Everton, like Brentford, like Leeds, and I think the future is exciting for Newcastle if they can stay up, which I believe they would.
Yeah, and Everton's obviously quite an interesting one. I'll grab some of your thoughts on this in a second, but obviously Everton, they've got Frank Lampard in, he's a bit of an unknown entity really in terms of management. No one really knows sort of what he's going to do. Obviously, Louis, you're a Chelsea fan, and you had him at Chelsea. And how would you rate his job that he did at Chelsea?
I would rate it quite highly, but I think that's just because of the Chelsea bias. Everyone that I spoke to from an outside perspective has said that it was just very average. But I think bringing through young players and making the most out of players is something that Frank Lampard can do really well. And it's not like Everton have a bad squad. Their team's definitely not championship worthy. They've got £50 million plus players in there. But I think Frank Lampard, I think he'll do enough to keep them up in the end, for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because obviously Everton have spent a lot of money over the last couple of seasons, but it just doesn't seem to be clicking really, does it? And I think obviously at Chelsea he did a great job with the youth in terms of bringing players through like Mason Mount and Tomori and stuff who he had at Derby. But I think when he spent the money in the second season, obviously I think he bought almost too many players at once. Would you say that?
Yeah, for sure. The first season there was definitely chemistry between the squads. There was players that were playing at academies together for God knows how many years, and there was certain chemistry there. And then when you bring in the big money signings, it can disrupt the squad quite a lot, and especially when you bring them from different leagues, players have got to adapt to the Premier League, which is easier said than done. So yeah, I think the second season when he spent more money was a bit different to the first.
Cool. So now we're going to head live to Saj Rahman, who is Exeter versus Swindon. Saj, tell us how the game starts. Obviously, we know that they're without Harry McCurdy. Can you give me an update on the start of the game?
Yeah, Fraser. I'd say Swindon have had the better of things at the moment. They're really pinning Exeter back at the moment, and they've just gone really close to scoring, actually, opening the scoring. It was Ian Dola that drove down the left-hand side, and he cut a ball back just behind. It was Johnny Williams of Swindon Town who's come in for McCurdy. He tried an audacious little backflip into the net, but he just missed it. And now Exeter are coming forward now. It's Matt Jay. As he comes forward, he sets it back to Sparks. Sparks puts a brilliant ball at the back post. And it's Archie Collins who can't quite meet it at the back post. It's the first chance for Exeter of the game. It was a brilliant ball in. But it was Archie Collins who couldn't quite meet it at the back post. Otherwise, Exeter could have taken the lead. But yeah, the biggest chance of the game so far has fallen to Swindon as Ian Dolo drove down the left. And it was Johnny Williams who tried an audacious back flick into the net, but he couldn't quite connect with it, and it ran out for a corner instead as it deflected off the defender. But still 0-0 here at St James's Park.
Thank you, Saj. So yeah, still 0-0. It's still 0-0 in our games in the Championship as well. Swansea, Fulham, and Sheffield United, Middlesbrough. Obviously, a lot at stake in the Sheffield United Middlesbrough game in particular. Jake, any developments on that game at all? Any chances?
Middlesbrough did have a penalty shout when Tavernier got brought down in the box, where it looked like he was brought down, but the ref just gave a goal kick as the ball ran out of play. But apart from that, not a lot's gone on. One of the Middlesbrough players was down for an injury for a while, but a free kick's just been taken by Sheffield United, where it's gone easily out behind for a Middlesbrough goal kick. But there was a Middlesbrough player down for a lengthy spell of time. I'm not quite sure who that was, but I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, so our Champions League games have now kicked off. It's 3 minutes past 8. So that's Bayern Munich versus RV Salzburg, and of course Liverpool hosting Inter Milan. No Edin Dzeko tonight, which I thought was quite interesting actually. Obviously Alexis Sanchez playing through the middle, is he, Louis?
He is. He's partnering Lautaro Martinez up front. And the first 2 minutes of this game, it's been quite scrappy. I'd say Inter Milan have had most of the ball, most of the possession, but nothing really to shout about. It's just been long balls headed down by Martinez, and it looks like, although he's quite small, Martinez, he is quite good in the air, and it looks like Alexis Sanchez is just trying to play off him. But 3 minutes in, and not much development.
Thank you, Kyle. Any developments in your game so far?
Well, the game's only 2.5 minutes in, but both sides have seen big chances. Robert Lewandowski for Bayern Munich just came close a minute ago. It was a good save from the Salzburg keeper, Cohn. And then straight away at the other end, it was, I believe, Nicholas Capaldo with a big opportunity. He seemed free in the middle, and it was only for a recovering Kingsley Coman who managed to get a last-ditch block in to see the shot go out for a corner. But a big shaky start for both sides, but hopefully it's just more to come.
Thank you, Kyle. We're going to try and head back to Matt now, who is at AFC Tottenham versus Eastleigh. We didn't get a chance to get the starting lineups from you before, Matt, so are you able to go through that with us?
Yeah, we can do. We've got bigger news than that. There's been a goal.
Oh, wow. Okay, tell me about the goal first, and then you can tell me who's playing.
So there was a goal to Eastleigh have taken the lead here at Tottenham thanks to Tom Bragg. A bit of a goal-mouth scramble, fired across the box, and eventually he managed to put it in the back of the net. 1-0 to the away side.
1-0 Eastleigh, that is, away at AFC Tottenham. Matt, can you now almost go through the starting 11 with us? I know it's a bit backwards, but we didn't get a chance to hear from you first time.
Yeah, so Tottenham's starting 11 is Lewis Nice in goal, Callum Bogan, Joe Roberts, Freddie Reid, Pascal Kumbame at the back, Ben Jeffrey, Jack Hoy, Jake Adams, Captain Brett Williams is number 9 up top, with Shaquille Gwengwe and Jordan Rickett.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for that update. So that's AFC Tottenham 1. No, AFC Tottenham 0, sorry. Eastleigh 1. Sorry, getting a bit confused there. Early goal. Obviously, we tried to speak to Matt earlier and didn't get through, so I'm a bit scrambled after that. The rest of the championship games still 0-0 at the moment. Barnsley 0, Stoke 0, Blackburn 0, Millwall 0, Bournemouth 0, Peterborough 0, Coventry 0, Luton 0. They're all 0-0. So a very, very exciting start to the football so far this evening. Even in League One, 0-0. And also the Champions League, yep, you guessed it, 0-0.
There is a goal at Portsmouth.
There is a goal at Portsmouth, I've been told.
There was a goal at Portsmouth in the 3rd minute.
The 3rd minute, well...
I believe it was scored by... Once it loads, I believe it was scored by...
We are waiting to find out who has scored the goal at Portsmouth.
Scored by Hurst in the 3rd minute, assisted by Ogilvie. To give Portsmouth the lead. Gives them the lead. That puts them up to 10th. Well, they remain 10th, level on points now with Ipswich with the goal to give them the lead. They've still got 2 games in hand on most of the teams ahead of them going into the playoffs.
There has been a goal at Exeter. We're going to try and go live to Saj Rahman. He always loves going live, so I'm sure that won't be an issue. But yeah, we're just going to try and get him on. Here he comes now. Saj, there's been a goal, but who for?
It's gone the way of Exeter. I just came on here saying that Swindon were pushing for the opening goal, but the goal has gone down the other end against a run of play, you can say. And it's a man in form for Exeter, Giovanni Brown, with his 6th goal of the season. The ball came to him. It fell nicely to him on the edge of a box, and he just struck it with his right foot. It's within the reach of the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper couldn't quite get a strong enough hand to it. And he just tipped it into the top right corner. And Exeter take the lead here. This win would see them jump into 3rd position in the league and go above Swindon, who are currently 7th. But whichever side wins this game will jump into 3rd position. But it's Exeter that have got their tails in front at the moment. And now St James's Park is really, really rocking here.
So would you say that's very much come against the run of play then, Saj, that goal?
I'd say it has, yes. Swindon have been dominating possession and Exeter have lost the ball quite a lot of times in their own final third, but Swindon haven't made them pay. And it just came from nothing. It was Jack Sparks that broke down the left-hand side for Exeter. He just sprinted forward down the line. He got the ball on the halfway line, and then the ball came in, was headed out, and it fell to Giovanni Brown. And Exeter have just been clinical. It's what they do this season. And you can maybe tell that Swindon are without their top 2 goal scorers this season. So obviously we know about Harry McCurdy, but Tyrese Simpson as well was on loan from Ipswich there this season. But he's been recalled in January and they're without him as well. So maybe it's Swindon lacking that bit of cutting edge in front of goal.
Perfect. Thank you, Saj. We're now going to take a look at some of our Champions League games. Obviously, 10 minutes in now. Louis, we'll start with you. How's the game going?
Well, Fraser, Inter Milan looks strong in these early 10 minutes. Like I said, nothing's really happened, but they've had most of the ball. Liverpool struggling to play out from the back. Inter Milan have got quite a lot of success over the left-hand side with Perisic up against Trent Alexander-Arnold, and they're almost doubling up with their wing-backs and their forwards going over. Perisic put a nice cross into the box a couple of minutes ago, which was about to fall on the volley to Martinez, but that was cleared in the last moment by Matip, and then Dumfries hit it on the volley, and it was a comfortable save by Alisson. Only shot of the game, and Liverpool have just won a corner.
There has been a goal in Sheffield United versus Middlesbrough, but Jake, who has scored it?
Oh, I believe it to be McNair. I believe it to be McNair for no, it's Norwood. Sorry, for Sheffield United. A bit of an unfortunate one for the Middlesbrough goalkeeper. He got a hand to the cross, which was put in by captain Billy Sharp, but he palmed it onto his own defenseman, and it just bounced straight into John Fleck's foot, and he knocked it into the back of the net. 1-0 Sheffield United.
Brilliant. That is the first goal in the Championship this evening from our live games. Billy Sharp, the Sheffield United legend, with the assist. We're now going to go to Tom in League One. Any updates on that game at all?
Well, it's definitely livened up over here, but it's Wimbledon who are actually having the better game so far. More possession, and also Brown and Ellis have been really prominent down that left-hand side, getting in good crosses to Cosgrove and really pinning down the Argyle fullbacks who are really important to their attacking play as well, so shutting them down there. Argyle have livened up again recently as well. They've had a few corners and they've been getting some good crosses in. Ennis had a good opportunity earlier, but it just went wide. And that's about it from here for now.
Okay, and Kyle, is there any update from you on the Salzburg-Bayern Munich game?
Not since I last joined you after the couple of minutes. By no surprise, Bayern Munich are dominating the game, but they are struggling to get clicking. Salzburg on the counter-attack looked dangerous with young German striker Karim Adeyemi, who may be playing in the Bundesliga next season, having linked with Borussia Dortmund. But like I say, Bayern Munich on top, but no clear-cut chances, although Robert Lewandowski has just gone down in the box, and I believe he has given a penalty. Yeah, a penalty to Bayern Munich has just been awarded. A cross came in from Kingsley Coman, and Robert Lewandowski took it down brilliantly on the turn and was brought down by the Salzburg defender. It looks like a penalty to me. I don't think VAR will overturn this one, so we could be seeing a goal very soon.
Okay, so that's a penalty to Bayern Munich. Hopefully, I'm guessing that will get checked by VAR, as obviously most of these do. But it's looking like a penalty. So who's going to step up? I'm going to guess that it's Robert Lewandowski, as he's formerly referred to by Thomas Muller. We're going to go live back to Carl now in preparation for Lewandowski taking the penalty, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is Lewandowski, by no surprise. If he puts this one away, it will be his 13th goal in this, his 10th goal, in this campaign in the Champions League. He is second top goal scorer behind Sebastian Haller, who's having a magnificent campaign himself. Robert Lewandowski steps up. I think the referee's just sorting out the players on the line. So I don't know what the delay is here. There is one.
If he does score, Robert Lewandowski, this penalty, it'll be his 29th goal in all competitions this evening. Obviously, we know he's a terrific striker, but he seems to be showing no signs of slowing down with age. We'll go back to Carl now. Hopefully the delay's gone and he's about to take this penalty.
Yeah, so he stepped up and, of course, comfortably just slotted it to the keeper's right-hand side. The keeper went left, so 1-0 to Bayern Munich. That puts them 2-1 up in the tie. They needed that goal because, obviously, Salzburg have to push for a goal now because, obviously, the away goal rule has been eliminated this year in the competition. So Salzburg will have to be on their top game to get anything from this game from now. But they trail 1-0 to Bayern Munich.
So that is Bayern Munich 2-1 up in this tie. While we were at that game, there has been a goal at Bramall Lane. Who for, Jake?
It's another goal for Sheffield United. This time scored by Captain Billy Sharp. Was 15th of the season. Unfortunately, I didn't actually see it go in, so I can't tell you how it went in. But all I can tell you is that Sheffield United look in prime position to jump into the playoff spots, replacing Middlesbrough in the 6th position.
Brilliant. We are now taking it away from football for a second. We've thankfully been joined by Adam Oliver, our cricket correspondent. He is in the studio with us, and he's going to tell us what's happening in the England versus West Indies test.
Yeah, hi guys, how we doing? Yeah, so England got off to another poor start, much like the Ashes, where they got to 57 for 4. Debutant Alex Lees was dismissed for 4. Zach Crawley was dismissed for 8. Joe Root left a straight one off the bowling of Kemar Roof, and Dan Lawrence looked good for his 20, but was caught. There's actually been a wicket just now. Ben Foakes has been removed, but he has reviewed it. England are currently on 214 for 6. Johnny Bairstow is looking good for 80 off 167 deliveries. Ben Foakes he's reviewed one. He's currently on 42 off 86 deliveries. So England have recovered well from where they were, but they currently are on 214 for 5.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Adam. There has been a goal in the Plymouth-Wimbledon game, but Tom, who is it for?
It's for Argyle, and it's Hardy. It was an absolutely lovely ball in from Mayer in midfield, just behind the defence. Hardy took about 3 touches in the box before slotting it between the keeper's legs. And a bit of deja vu here, because he also scored the first goal against Wimbledon in the first high of the season. It's at the half-hour mark now, and Wimbledon have some catching up to do for sure.
Thank you, Tom. We've now joined by George Rees-Julian at Swansea. He's going to give us a quick update on how that game is going. George, can you give us an update about that game?
Yeah, so Swansea have been on top really from the kick-off. They've controlled possession, but they're yet to really make that possession count and turn it into any chances. Joe Peer and Patterson, they've combined really well up top so far, as they have done all season. They've had a couple of chances on the edge of the box, as I said earlier, but Fulham seem to just be getting it away before they can actually get a shot off. Fulham have probably had, or as you come to me, Fulham players just gone down in the box. Fabio Carvalho, the referee, waves away his appeal. The Swansea fans shouting at the youngster to get up. They think he's dived. The referee agrees with the fans. He's waved it away, and Swansea have a goal kick. But as I was saying, Fulham have probably had the stronger attack. They looked to get the ball into Mitrovic, but Swansea did really well to clear it. You can tell the Swansea fans are a bit worried about Mitrovic. Every time he's in the box, you can see Ben Cabango eyeing him up. You can see Kyle Norton eyeing him up, really hoping he doesn't get the ball because they know what he can do with it in the box.
Thank you, George. We're going to head live now to Sarge. Sorry to cut you off, George, but there has been a goal at Exeter City, and we've had a lot of 0-0s to start off with, so if there's a goal, I want to head straight to it. Saj, can you talk to me? What's been happening?
Fraser, I was telling you that Swindon were the better side starting off the game, but that goal has changed everything here. And Exeter have taken a 2-goal lead. Sam Nombe did some brilliant work on this near corner flag to win a corner for his side. It looked like there might have been a push there, but the referee allowed the physical play. And Archie Collins whipped the ball into the back stick, where Jonathan Grounds met it and hit it into the bottom right corner to give Exeter a 2-0 lead. And now the fans behind the Exeter goal are singing 2-0 on your big day out to Swindon as they mock the fans off on the opposite side of the pitch. But it is Swindon now on the attack. However, it looks like Exeter are going to be moving into third position if the result stays like this.
Perfect. Thank you, Saj. 2-0 on your big day out. It's 2-0 elsewhere on someone else's big day out. Sheffield United are 2-0 up at Middlesbrough, and they've got a free kick. They've got a chance to potentially score a third. It's a dangerous position here on the left side of the box. Jake, talk to me about this free kick.
Yeah, well, Gibbs White was fouled in the process. He was brought down quite cynically just outside the box. There's a couple of players stood over the ball, Norwood being one of them. Norwood being one of the people stood over the ball and just waiting for it to be taken now. The ref's taking his time deciding. There you go, whistle blown now.
There has actually been a goal at Peterborough. And it is Peterborough that have taken the lead, 1-0 against Bournemouth. That free kick amounted to nothing, unfortunately. Story of the Championship so far. Coventry 0, Luton 0. We're going to try and get hold of Joe Hayhurst, who is watching Bournemouth, Peterborough. Bournemouth obviously second in the table behind Fulham, and potentially look like they're going back to the Premier League. Obviously, Eddie Howe did such a good job there at Bournemouth, but he is now at Newcastle. And Bournemouth have been good this season, but there has been times when they've come back late. Only recently they came from 1-0 down and scored 2 goals in the final 10 minutes of the game to turn it around 2-1. Last night in the Championship, Nottingham Forest beat Huddersfield 2-1. Sorry, in the FA Cup, that was. They're into the quarter-finals. Nottingham Forest could also be making a late push for the playoffs, and they are in 8th position, I believe, in the Championship, 8th or 9th position. And there's been another penalty at Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. Kyle, who for?
So this time it's against Salzburg again. Bayern Munich win the penalty. The same occurrence. I think it's the same defender on Robert Lewandowski. He's got him in his pocket at the moment. He uses his body well, spins his man, and he draws in the foul. I believe it is a penalty. It might. Oh, actually, sorry. It has been awarded as a free kick right on the line. Still a dangerous opportunity for Bayern Munich to go 2-0 up, but it's not a penalty. Although we know what Robert Lewandowski can do from a free kick as well as a penalty. They're just sorting us out. I think VAR came into play there because the referee did initially point to the spot, but now has reframed his decision for a free kick right on the edge of the box.
Okay, we're now going to go back to Saj. Again, this game is action-packed to say the least, isn't it, Saj? I can see you licking your lips there. Tell me about this chance.
This match has really come to life now, Fraser. Exeter are really pushing to kill this game off. They've had a massive chance just moments ago from a corner. Archie Collins whipped it in to Sam Stokes. He had a free header on the 6-yard line, but he somehow put it wide. And just now, just before you come to me, Giovanni Brown threw on goal again. And this time, he tries to slot the ball through the keeper's legs. But it is Jojo Wallacott. What a name, by the way. He's stopped it with his leg, and it's still 2-0. But this game, Exeter are really putting their foot down, and they're going to try and avoid the same old drama that they had a few weeks ago in their 4-3 win over Harrogate Town. And yeah, they're really pushing, Fraser, I must say.
Thank you, Saj. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll hear from you tonight. We're going to head back to Kyle now. Is it now a penalty?
Yeah, sorry, there was a lot going on there. I thought initially the referee did point to the spot, but he didn't. He pointed to the outside of the penalty area, just towards just about 18 yards out, and then VAR have now intervened and given a penalty which Robert Lewandowski has just slotted away. It's the exact same penalty down to the keeper's right. Bayern now lead 2-0.
So that is now 30 goals in all competitions for Robert Lewandowski. 28 plus 2, that's 30. I didn't skip maths. Louis, can you give me an update on your game in the Champions League? Liverpool versus Inter Milan. Obviously, Liverpool 2-0 up. How's that game going?
Yeah, it's still 0-0 over here, but Inter Milan are really, really pushing now. Not many clear-cut chances, but they are just knocking at the door constantly, and you can feel like Liverpool are going to break at some point. It's just a matter of time. They're really struggling to play their usual way. I think the system that Inzaghi has put out tonight has been really strong. Van Dijk on the ball now. The passes are just soft. They're not. Liverpool don't look up for it, but there was a disallowed goal early on. It was very much offside. Sanchez was miles offside. All the Liverpool players stopped, but it remains 0-0.
Thanks for that, Louis. Looking ahead to tomorrow night, obviously Manchester City have got Sporting Lisbon at home. I mean, they're 5-0 up. I can't see that one being let slip. Real Madrid in a crucial game against PSG, but there has been another goal. Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. Kyle, who is it this time?
No surprise, Robert Lewandowski grabs his hat-trick in under 22 minutes, which is just outstanding. A big mess up from Salzburg at the back. Salzburg haven't been playing badly. It's just at the back they look so open, and they were playing up in their own attack. They lost the ball. Just a big kick up from Neuer. Müller knocks it down and plays it through to Lewandowski, who is in 50-50 contention with the keeper. The keeper hits the ball, it hits Robert Lewandowski, flies onto the post, and he's there for an easy tap-in for 3-0 Bayern Munich, and surely they move on to the quarterfinals now.
So 3-0 to Bayern Munich, 3-1 on aggregate. You would expect them to go through now. Bayern Munich rarely let 3-0 leads slip. They rarely let any leads slip, actually. Obviously, Liverpool also 2-0 up on aggregate against Inter Milan. That is live, 24 minutes played. There's something happened at Bramall Lane. Is it an injury, Jake?
I believe so, yeah. I'm not quite sure who it is. I believe it... Sorry. It's Sander Berg, I believe. No, it's John Fleck. Sorry, he's injured. He's refusing to leave the pitch after being down on the floor for a lengthy amount of time, but the ref's going to finally coax him off the field. But just before this, Morgan Gibbs-White had a brilliant chance to make it 3-0, but he was denied by Lumley. He ran through a couple of challenges from the defenders before shooting it just straight at the Middlesbrough goalkeeper. But Sheffield United are going to make a change here. And on comes...
Who is coming on?
That's a good question. Give me 1 second and I can tell you.
Well, I think the main thing is obviously Sheffield United won't be...
Conor
Hourihane. 30 minutes played and Sheffield United have been forced into an early change. John Fleck, was it, going off? Replaced by Conor Hourihane. So light for light replacement, but still not good. Anyway, back to the Champions League. Tomorrow night, Manchester United 1, Atletico Madrid 1. Who knows which way that game's going to go. There's been a chance or a goal or something has happened, and I'm going to go to Louis now.
I'm not really sure what's happened here, Fraser, but Jurgen Klopp has just gone over to the fourth official, and paramedics are sprinting over to the Kop end by the looks of it. I'm not sure if it's a fan going down the crowd. The TV cameras aren't picking it up, but Jurgen Klopp has sprinted over to the fourth official to tell him something's happened, and the game stopped here. The players look like they're going back in. They're just on the touchline speaking to their managers at the moment. So as soon as I know what's going on, I'll let you know.
Yeah, hopefully that's not another fan issue. Obviously, there's been a lot of those recently. Our favourite person is back on the line. It's Sajid Rahman. There's been another big chance missed. Saj, talk to me.
Yeah, Exeter again, Fraser. This time Sam Nombe, the man who Matt Warburton was actually really raving about beforehand. When I was last here, Fraser, he was saying how he literally is the epitome of the side. He chases down everything, and it was from chasing the ball down, but he had a massive chance there. He closed the ball down on the edge of a box, has a left-footed shot. It's deflected just wide of the post. From the resulting corner, actually, another huge chance for Sam Stubbs at the back post again, but this time he's missed his header completely when he was free on the 6-yard box again. But yeah, Exeter are really pushing. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 3-0 before half-time here, Fraser.
Thank you, Saj. So, the Liverpool game is still at a halt, is it, I believe, Louis?
It is. Obviously, TV cameras not picking up what's going on, which you'd expect. But Liverpool players and Inter Milan players alike are just on the touchline. I've just seen that it is an issue with a fan in the crowd, so hopefully it's nothing major. Hopefully it can get cleared up soon, and we hope the fan gets well soon.
Okay, thanks for that, Louis. We're now going to try and go live to George Rees-Julian, who is at Swansea. There's been a red card, so we're going to hope we might have to speak to him a bit later. Oh no, he's on. We're going to speak to him now and find out the red card. George, red card, who for?
Yeah, Swansea are down to 10 men. Ryan Manning has just been sent off, and everybody inside the stadium was just as shocked as I was. The referee pulled his red card. He didn't even think. He just pulled it straight out of his pocket. He came in. It was a late tackle on Harry Wilson, but it didn't look malicious. He didn't really go over the ball. I'm yet to see a replay. We don't have a monitor where we are, but it looked really, really harsh. And Swansea are now going to be down to 10 men for the rest of this game.
Yeah, Swansea down to 10 men. How's that going to affect the game, do you think? Obviously, Fulham, top of the Championship. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it, now for Swansea?
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. Swansea, they've made little use of their possession so far, and if they're losing a man, then it's going to be even harder for them to keep possession. And Fulham, they've just started to become the better side, and it's been down this right-hand side, actually. Neco Williams and Harry Wilson have been doing really, really well down the right-hand side, and they forced the red card, and it's going to be tough for Swansea now.
Okay, thank you, George. You can hear the boos there in the crowd ringing around the Liberty Stadium after a red card for Ryan Manning. Shocking scenes, unfortunately, at Anfield with a fan still down in the Kop end. This keeps happening. We've seen it more and more now with breaks in play. We first saw it at Newcastle a few weeks ago, obviously, and when David Ginola was on the Sky Sports panel speaking about CPR and resuscitation. Hopefully it's not that serious. Hopefully they've just had a funny 5 minutes and they're back and fit and well soon. But yeah, this does keep happening. Bayern Munich 3-0 up and absolutely cruising against Salzburg. They'll be going through to the next round, you would think. So yeah, back to tomorrow night's action. Ajax host Benfica. That is currently 2-2. Sebastian Haller, he may actually not be the top goal scorer in the Champions League now after Lewandowski's 22-minute hat-trick tonight, but he will be looking to add to his Champions League goals when they host Benfica tomorrow night. Man United 1, Atletico Madrid 1, Anthony Elanga getting that late equaliser for Man United. And despite their troubles in the Premier League, I think the Champions League possibly could be their competition. Elsewhere, we've got Juventus and Villarreal. That game is currently 1-1 on aggregate. Juve at home surely will do a number on Villarreal. And elsewhere, Chelsea travel to Lille. They're currently 2-0 up from their home leg as they look to go into the next round. So strong from the English sides, particularly in this Champions League. Potentially four English sides making up the quarter-finalists in the next round. Obviously, Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea you would expect to go through, but question marks above Man United's head. Louis, that expression tells me all I need to know. Has there been a chance?
There's been a great chance for Liverpool, and Joel Matip has just rattled the crossbar. It was a Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick, one of his trademark wicked deliveries, a lot of pace on it, and Matip just crouches down, gets his head on it, and it smashes the upright. Handanovic was rooted to the spot, but it still remains Inter Milan 0, Liverpool 0.
Okay, there's been another goal at Salzburg versus Bayern. I'm going to say who for, Carl, but I think I know the answer.
Yeah, that's right. 4-0 to Bayern Munich now. Kingsley Coman picks it up about 25 yards out. Spots his winger on the other side, Serge Gnabry, who takes it down well and slots it in under Salzburg's goalkeeper. He could have done better, in my opinion, but Bayern just clean sailing now. It's disappointing for Salzburg because they are a promising young side that could have had an opportunity in this game if things had gone their way a bit better, but Bayern Munich on top, 4-0, game over.
So that's Bayern Munich 4, Salzburg 0, 5-1 now to Bayern Munich on aggregate. Unfortunately, Adam Oliver is back. Couldn't keep him away. He's back with another cricket update. Adam, anything happened since we last spoke?
Yeah, so you know when I last left and I said that Folkes was given out and he was reviewing it? Yeah, basically he was out and he didn't survive the review, unlike Bairstow much earlier. However, Johnny Bairstow is still in. He's still looking good for his 90 off 174 deliveries. England are currently on 224 for 6. Hopefully I won't be back here.
Yeah, I hope you won't be back either, but we can't keep you away, can we? Nearly half-time in our Championship games. Championship and League One, should I say. Jake, still 2-0?
Still 2-0 Sheffield United, but Middlesbrough are slowly growing into this game. They had a few half chances a couple of moments ago. They had their first corner of the game. So they're slowly getting into the game a bit more, but it's very, very easy for Sheffield United. They're passing the ball around with confidence. They look like the team that are higher up in the table. But you just got to wait for Middlesbrough to get in it. You can't rule this team out. They've had a few come from behind victories this season.
Okay, thank you for that. And now we're going to go and speak to Tom. Tom, how's it looking?
Well, it's half-time here and it's still 1-0 to Plymouth. It's quieted down a bit, really, since that Hardy goal. Not much going on. Plymouth, though, really have taken over and dominated again now from the shaky start that they had. So hopefully Wimbledon in the second half for them can find that form they had at the beginning of the first half. But right now that looks unlikely.
Thank you, Tom. So at Coventry, Luton have taken, a surprise lead. I would say a surprise lead. So they are currently a goal up against Coventry. Peterborough still a goal up at Bournemouth. That is now half-time. Millwall 0, Blackburn 0 at half-time. Stoke 0, Barnsley 0 at half-time. Swansea 0, Fulham 0 still, despite that red card to Ryan Manning. George Rees-Julian did not sound happy about that, as did the other 20,000 fans inside the Liberty Stadium. Wigan 1, Sutton United 1, and Bayern Munich, the story of the night, 4-0 up against Salzburg. What a shame. After such an impressive display from Salzburg last week, 1-1, they would have been hoping that they could perhaps at least take that game to extra time. But unfortunately, that wouldn't have happened because they don't do that anymore. It goes straight to penalties. So, but there's no chance of even that happening now because Bayern Munich are 4-0 up. Has the Liverpool game resumed, or are they still treating that fan?
Yeah, funnily enough, Fraser, it has resumed because last time you spoke to me, Joel Matip hit the crossbar. No, but we're back underway. The fan, I don't think anything too major happened. Touch wood. I hope I didn't jinx that. But the game resumed quite quickly compared to other incidents. And Liverpool, since the restart, have looked a lot stronger. But Inter Milan still creeping in a little bit. Lautaro Martinez nearly getting in behind there. But Van Dijk had the pace to keep up. And it's still 0-0.
Yeah, thank you for that one. I did forget that Joel Matip, of course, thundered against the crossbar. If you give it out, you've got to be able to take it. That's the way the game goes. So, yeah, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. It's looking like it's about to be half-time in the Sheffield United Middlesbrough game. It's cleared out the box by Sheffield United, and it's played all the way back to the goalkeeper. And guess who's back? Back again. It's Sajir Rahman in the den.
It's not quite the Den, Fraser. It's actually St James's Park. But it is 2-0 and it's half-time here. I was said to you just before when I came on that I expected a few more goals. It went quiet after that. I must say, maybe a bit of commentator's curse. But it's 2-0 here to Exeter. The last game here 4 weeks ago ended 2-1 to Exeter at the county ground. And it doesn't look like it's going to finish that way. If anything, it could be Exeter 4 or 5 here. Exeter have really kicked on. It was a tale of two halves within the first half, you could say. Swindon started really strongly, but they lacked the cutting edge without their top goal scorer, Harry McCurdy. And, down the other end, Matt Jay, Giovanni Brown and Sam Nombe have been influential for Exeter, who have been really clinical when they've gone forward. And, it looks like it's all Exeter at the moment. And not quite a happy day out for the Swindon fans behind the goal there.
Yeah, well, we can't all be having happy days out. I'm glad you're enjoying it. In the Championship, it's now half-time in most of the games. Sheffield United, Middlesbrough still playing. I believe that is close to being half-time. Looking ahead this week at the Europa League fixtures, my beloved West Ham take on Sevilla. That's away. I mean, Sevilla, they've won the Europa League 6 times, I believe. So I'm not too confident going into that. Louis is laughing at me across the studio, but yeah, I think that could be a tough game. Porto taking on Lyon. That's an interesting game. Obviously, Porto now without their star man, Luis Diaz, who is currently balling out tonight for Liverpool. Louis, has Luis Diaz had anything to do tonight? Or is he even playing? I can't remember the starting lineup.
Luis Diaz is on the bench tonight. It is Salah, Mane and Jota that are up front. Not much going on still. Inter Milan just had a corner. It's gone out for a Liverpool throw-in. But no, Luis Diaz is on the bench, so he is not running riot over here.
Well, he can't run riot every game. Elsewhere in the Europa League this week, Real Betis versus Eintracht Frankfurt. We will have coverage of that tomorrow night. Manuel Pellegrini's Betis doing well in La Liga. Eintracht Frankfurt, not so much in the Bundesliga, but Betis have been leaking goals at the back so far. It's now half-time at Sheffield United versus Middlesbrough in the Championship, and it is Sheffield United 2, Middlesbrough 0. Barcelona take on Galatasaray on Thursday. With the new signings, obviously you would expect Barcelona to win that game. Xavi seems to have had a fairly decent start recruiting some good players. Adama Traore getting more assists in his first 5 games in La Liga than he did in 18 months at Wolverhampton Wanderers, which is an interesting stat. Rangers. I don't even want to say that name. I don't know how you say that name.
Savina Zvezda.
There you go, Savina Zvezda in the Europa League. Hopefully they will be going through. Braga versus Monaco. That's an interesting game. Obviously Monaco have. We're trying to get hold of someone now. At AFC Tottenham versus Eastleigh. We're going to see if there's been any updates there. We're just waiting to see if we can get through there. Leverkusen Atalanta. That will be a thriller. And we have actually got through to Matt at AFC Tottenham versus Eastleigh. Hello, Matt. Any updates for us?
Hey there, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. Any updates for us on the game so far?
Half time here at Tottenham, still 1-0 to the visitors as Eastleigh, thanks to Tom Bragg's strike on the 20th minute. A few chances on the whole for each side. 3 shots on target for both teams, but a big second half here coming up in the semi-final.
Okay, thanks for that, Matt. So that is the semi-final. Obviously, winner goes through to the final. So all to play for there. Half-time, I'm guessing, at Bayern Munich. Is it? No, it's not half-time yet. Kyle, anything else happen? Bayern Munich looking like they're going to score another 4 goals?
No, it's still 5 minutes till the break. Bayern are on the attack actually at the moment. It's been intercepted. Bayern, this is statement stuff because Salzburg they're no walk in the park. Although the scoreline suggests that, Bayern have been brilliant. The professionalism that they've showed is next level, and this could be a real team that has a big opportunity of winning this year's Champions League. Everyone's saying that it's going towards an English team, which I personally believed as well. But seeing this performance from Bayern Munich, I think they can give anyone a run for their money.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. We're now going to go live to George Rees-Julian at the Liberty Stadium. George, is it half-time there?
Yeah, you join us from an insanely loud Swansea.com stadium. We're right by the speakers for the PA announcer. And to be honest, I can't even hear what's going on in my own head. But one thing I did hear was the boos that came at the referee when he blew his half-time whistle. The fans are really not happy with that decision to send off Brian Manning just before half-time. And Swansea were almost punished immediately. Fulham broke down the right-hand side, which is where all their problems have come from so far. Harrison Reed whipped in a ball for Aleksandar Mitrovic and he headed it just wide of the post. And you can really sense the tone of this game has shifted in Fulham's favour now that they've got the extra man.
Yeah, well, Fulham, a difficult opposition to play at any time, but obviously, like you say, with that extra man, do you think there could be a change of shape or any half-time substitutions for Swansea at all to even it out?
Yeah, I think Swansea definitely need to make a change. They're already without Cyrus Christie tonight at right back, so Corey Smith, who usually plays in the midfield, he played left wing back, to be fair, against Coventry on the weekend, but he's not a recognised defender, so they're already missing a recognised defender on the right. Now they've had Ryan Manning sent off on the left. They've had Matt Grimes has filled in, Jamie Patterson's filmed in. They're really going to need a recognised left back there as well to really support the side. Ryan Bennett was warming up. He's just gone down the tunnel, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him come on at the centre of the defence next to Ben Cabango, and then perhaps Corey Smith either come out to the left like he played against Coventry, and Kyle Norton go out to the right, or maybe Kyle Norton will come out onto the left. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I definitely think Swansea will be making a change at half-time.
Okay, thank you, George. So Swansea down to 10 men. Ryan Manning sent off, and perhaps a change of shape and maybe even a few substitutions needed at half-time for Swansea. Lads, I'm just going to bring you in on this now. So obviously I was just looking at the Europa League fixtures. Obviously Spartak Moscow have been kicked out of the Europa League. Louis, starting with you, thoughts on that?
I think it's very harsh. I obviously think it's to make a statement, obviously about the war with Russia and Ukraine. But should it really affect sport? That's for people to say, because I doubt any of the players believe it's right what Russia are doing, and even the players that play for Spartak Moscow that aren't Russian, I wonder what they feel about it. But yeah, I think it's harsh.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think it's harsh. Tom, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with you boys there. I think it's harsh to punish players considering they have nothing to do with it. This is their career, and not many of them really get a chance to play in the Champions League really and go as far as they possibly could. I just think it's really unfair on the players, really unfair on the team. I don't think it should interfere with sport, especially like Champions League football.
Still not half-time at Salzburg by Munich. Any chances since we last spoke, Kyle?
No, all the same. Bayern Munich on top. I think Salzburg's confidence is just slowly decreasing now as the minutes tick by. They're not creating a lot. So Bayern Munich, look, the next one's to score, which is no surprise. I thought maybe there would have been a reaction. We'll have to wait until half-time to see how Salzburg play this one out. But yeah, disappointing stuff for them, but no changes since I last spoke to you.
Okay, and Louis, for you, any further chances in that game? Obviously, I know it's resumed now. Joel Matip strike any more headers against the bar, or anything else happened?
No, but Hakam Çalhanoğlu got close with a free kick. I don't know if you've seen my free kicks before, Fraser, but he put in a very Louis Moore-esque free kick out wide, directed towards the back post, and it missed everyone, but Alisson was on his toes, and he managed to parry it out, and he looked mortified at his defence for not clearing it. He was screaming at them, but not long till half-time. Curtis Jones is down with an injury currently, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. He seems to be struggling, but he's up on his feet now. But yeah, still 0-0.
Okay, I'll be honest, I have seen a Louis Moore free kick. I believe there was one last weekend whipped in the bottom corner, so I've got that image firmly in my head. With Bournemouth currently 1-0 down in the Championship, Huddersfield are actually in second place. Obviously, that was a chance for Bournemouth to regain second spot. They have got 3 games in hand on Huddersfield, but Huddersfield having a surprisingly good season, actually. Blackburn currently 0-0, so they remain 4th. Sheffield United 2-0 up to the good against Middlesbrough. They have gone up to 5th. Should Blackburn concede or not win this game, or not even draw this game, Sheffield United do have an opportunity to take that 4th spot. Luton Town currently 1-0 up against Coventry. They are into 6th place, level on points with Sheffield United. That's 57. Blackburn in 4th with 58. Bournemouth in 3rd with 61. Huddersfield 62. And flying at the top of the league is, of course, Fulham and Alexandra Mitrovic. 74 points for Fulham. QPR, interestingly, drop out of the playoffs. I know there'll be a very unhappy man upstairs with that, Mr. Cameron Anderson-Jones, QPR fan. He will not be happy, but I did tell him it was going to happen. Middlesbrough currently in 8th as they're 2-0 down. But should they spin this game around, there's a chance to close the gap on the playoff spots. Millwall currently 0-0. Nottingham Forest in 10th. That's one to watch, obviously beating Huddersfield 2-1 last night in the FA Cup and progressing into the quarter-finals. Currently 10th in the league. There's always a team in the Championship that makes a late break towards the playoffs. Could it just be Nottingham Forest? Who knows? It's all quiet in the Champions League games, looking at you two boys. Nothing too much is happening. Obviously, Liverpool just doing a job, really, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, I said before that Inter Milan were knocking at the door, and it's that knock has seemed to quieten down a bit. There's been a couple times where they've gone behind, but Sanchez has been offside both times. Not much really to talk about. Liverpool just being sturdy in their performance. They're just keeping the ball nicely now. It doesn't really look like there's any gaps for Inter Milan to penetrate as of yet, but there's still a whole half of football to play.
Okay, we're going to try and get through to Liam Jones and Callum Pearman, who are at Coventry watching Coventry versus Luton. Obviously, Luton currently 1-0 up and into 6th. That could be a very interesting side making the playoffs. Imagine Luton Town in the Premier League. I don't want to imagine that personally. But the only thing I know about Luton is that it's got an airport. Not bad for cheap holidays. But yeah, the Championship tighter than ever. They say it's the best league in the world. That's a load of rubbish. The Premier League's the best league in the world. But it can take second. Big thanks to Geordie, obviously, for coming on earlier. Very passionate about his Spanish football and provided quite an insight into perhaps a few transfer rumours. I mean, personally, I didn't know about Erling Haaland to Barcelona. I'm not sure if any of you boys had heard anything about that. But, yeah, that could be quite interesting. Erling Haaland, if he were to go to Barcelona and Kylian Mbappe were to go to Real Madrid, perhaps those two, Messi and Ronaldo-esque, fighting it out for the Ballon d'Or. Jake, any idea how long before this Sheffield United-Middlesbrough game starts again?
It should only be a couple of minutes, but that gives Middlesbrough more than enough time to work out some tactics of how they're going to get back at Sheffield United in this game. Middlesbrough have been completely out of it. They haven't even registered a shot on target yet, despite having the majority of the possession. Not that it's actually been in Sheffield United's half. Most of it's been passed around the back into the goalkeeper. But Middlesbrough desperately need a result in this game to increase the gap from themselves and Sheffield United to 4 points. But at the minute, it doesn't look like it's going to be possible to do that. And I think the game is about to get back underway.
As is another game, and guess who it is? It's Saja Rahman at Exeter. Saj, talk to me.
So the game's just about to get underway here again at St James's Park. Both teams have made a substitution each. So the goal scorer, Jonathan Grounds, who scored his second goal of the season in the first half, has come off for Alex Hartridge of Exeter City. And Swindon are putting their own goal scorer on as well. So he scored a 96th minute penalty winner on Saturday. Jack Payne has now come on. He's just returned back from injury after a long 2 months out with a knee injury, and he's replaced number 26, Ryan East. So we're back underway here. 2 substitutions, and yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Saj. We're going to cut to Liam now, who is watching Coventry versus Luton. Liam, are you able to talk to us about that game at all?
Hello, yeah. Luton have started off really well. It's been a bit of a cagey affair, but they went 1-0 up with Elijah Adebayo's goal. A clearance from the back four left him one-on-one with the keeper, drove it down to his right-hand side and made it 1-0. The only real chances that have happened so far as the second half kicks off now.
Sorry, that was Callum, not Liam. We're now going to go live to George at Swansea. There has been a goal for Fulham. George, talk to me about the goal. George, you're on mute, buddy. Try again. Talk to me about the goal.
Yeah, I think you can guess who it is. It's Alexander Mitrovic with his 35th goal of the season. We spoke earlier about his record against Welsh sides, and he's added yet another one. And I was getting ready to speak about 2 subs. Swansea just made 2 changes at half-time. But to be honest, they hadn't even got a chance to settle into the game. Fulham broke straight from kick-off, got the ball into Harrison Reed. He played it to Harry Wilson, and he cut it straight to Mitrovic. He had a tap-in. It was 5 yards out. It's probably one of the easiest goals he's scored this season.
Out of his 35, that is sounding like one of the easiest goals. Thank you, George. We're now going to go to Louis. There has been a chance, but who for?
It's just got to half-time, but deep into stoppage time, Trent Alexander-Arnold had a free kick about 25 to 30 yards out, and in his trademark style, he already troubled Inter Milan with one of them earlier, but this one was a shot rather than a cross, and he whipped it with a lot of venom on it, and it went inches past the post. Handanovic was really worried, scrambling across his line to try and get there. I don't think he would have got there, in fairness, but it just goes wide. 0-0 at half-time.
Thank you, Louis. It's also half-time in the Salzburg-Bayern game, is it, Kyle?
Yeah, Julian Nagelsmann's men lead 4-0 at the break. It's all but done here. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Salzburg come out in the second half. But I just think I think they'll shut up shop now just for damage limitation. And it looks like Bayern Munich will be heading to the quarter-final.
So plenty of goals in that game, not particularly contested, but plenty of goals nonetheless. Can't complain. It was 0-0 in most of our championship games for most of the game. The players are now back out here at Bramall Lane for Sheffield United Middlesbrough the second half. Jake, do you mind giving me a quick update on the Ipswich game and the score there?
Yeah, Ipswich Town 2-0 to the good. Goals from Wes Burns and Caden Jackson put them 2-0 up against Lincoln. There's a lot of games in League One that do have playoff implications today. MK Dons are 2 up against Cheltenham. They're currently 3rd. They're now 7 points clear of Oxford in 4th and 11 clear of Sheffield Wednesday in 7th. So they more or less locked in a playoff spot. They're also level on points of Wigan, but Wigan have quite a few games in hand. Sunderland are 1-0 down to Fleetwood. Sunderland really been on a really rough patch of form at the minute and dropped from 3rd all the way down to 8th now, just 1 point above Ipswich, who are 2-0 up at home to Lincoln. Portsmouth 2-0 up against Crewe. Portsmouth making a late surge towards the playoffs after having a really bad start to the season. And obviously Tom's on that game at Plymouth, with Plymouth moving up to 5th with the current scoreline at 1-0.
Yep, so Tom, are the players back out from half-time in that game now?
Yes, we are back underway now at Home Park, and there has been a change to one side, that being Wimbledon. They've moved to 5 at the back now, with Jack Rodoni making way for Paul Cambalai, and Asal has moved up front with Cosgrave, which is much needed because he has been looking very isolated up there. But it hasn't really worked for them so far. Argyle have had they've started lively and had a few half chances here already, and look to be building on their goal from the first half.
Okay, thank you, Tom. So back underway in the Championship and League One games. It is half-time in our Champions League games. That is Bayern Munich 4, Salzburg 0. Robert Lewandowski with a 22-minute hat-trick. Robert Lewandowski doing Robert Lewandowski things. Luton 1, Coventry 0. Sheffield United 2-0 up at Bramall Lane to Middlesbrough. And Alexander Mitrovic with his 35th goal of the season for Fulham away at Swansea. Swansea obviously down to 10 men after that Ryan Manning red card. It's also half-time at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Liverpool looking comfortable, obviously, with a 2-0 lead on aggregate in this tie, looking to go through to the quarterfinals. There was an incident midway through the first half with a fan, another one of those incidents that we keep seeing where medical assistance was required, but hopefully that seemed to resolve itself quite quickly. Joel Matip hit the bar from a thumping header after his goal was ruled out for offside the other week in the League Cup. So plenty of offside goals in that game, actually. But yeah, the goals are starting to flood in now in our games this evening. There's been an equaliser at Bournemouth-Peterborough. I'm just going to see who's grabbed that one. It is Ryan Christie in the 52nd minute. So that does do a few interesting things to the Championship table. That puts Bournemouth back into second. Oh, no, it doesn't. It has been ruled out. So Bournemouth still trailing 1-0. But Huddersfield currently second in the table. Oh no, it is 1-1. And we've got George Rees-Julian at the Liberty Stadium. George, any chances?
Yeah, Fulham have just extended their lead. I can't quite work out who it was, but it was an own goal. Harry Wilson again down that right. He's been a massive problem ever since that red card. He cut the ball across, and I think it came off Kyle Norton, but it could have been Bankabango. They both sort of ran into each other as they were looking to clear the ball. But Fulham, they've extended their lead, and they've now scored 86 goals this season.
That is very interesting. Fulham obviously you'd expect them to win that game, even if it is away at Swansea, extending their lead currently at the top of the Championship to 14 points. Thank you for that, George. We're trying to see what's going on in a few of the other games. No doubt my best friend Saj will be back on any minute. He just can't keep away. But the goals do keep flooding in there at Exeter versus Swindon. Obviously, Swindon without star man Harry McCurdy, who Saj was gutted. Actually, he wasn't there because I know Saj, and he would have been after an autograph. He'd have been after an interview as well, and he'd have probably made it into the tunnel, to be fair to him. Persistence is key. But yeah, Harry McCurdy, a big Chelsea fan, just like Saj. Adam Oliver is on his way down to the studio. But first, we're going to be joined by Matt Renton, who is at AFC Tottenham versus Eastleigh. Matt, any updates in the second half? I'm guessing it's just kicked off.
Yeah, we'll be here for about 5 or 6 minutes now, and it's still 1-0 to the visitors. Eastleigh really pushing here at the opposite end to try and get that much-needed equaliser. A few crunching tackles sliding in. It's getting a bit of a feisty second half as the visitors are holding on here.
So, that is the Hampshire Cup semi-final. AFC Tottenham currently 1-0 up against Eastleigh. Matt says Eastleigh looking for the equaliser and just walked into the room. He's back again like a bad smell. It's Adam Oliver, the cricket correspondent. Adam, any updates on the cricket for us?
Yeah, actually a positive update for once. Johnny Bairstow has just brought up his 3 figures. So instead of being the bearer of bad news, I've actually got good news for once. England are currently 241 for 6. Bairstow brought up his 3 figures with a lovely sweep for 4 off 192 deliveries, and England are currently 241 for 6. Chris Wokes has joined him now at the crease. He's on 6 off 27 deliveries, and yeah.
Looking a bit more positive then, perhaps, for England, is it? Or still no?
Yeah, it's been an okay day for England. Like they'll probably look at it and say from where they were at 57 for 4 that this is probably a good escape from that. Some good partnerships in there with Ben Stokes and Ben Folkes, both getting good starts, and so England are on the up.
Stokes, Folkes and Wokes, it is the England trio. Thank you there to Adam. I believe there was a goal that was just ruled out for offside in the Sheffield United Middlesbrough game. Is that correct, Jake?
There was, and it would have brought Middlesbrough right back into this game, but Connolly was offside when he put the ball past Fotheringham in the Sheffield United goal. But not a lot's happened in this game. That's the only real thing that's happened after the break, but Middlesbrough have seemed to have got back into this game.
Perfect. So Middlesbrough with a much better start to the second half than their first half, obviously currently trailing 2-0, and it did first half look like it was very much all Sheffield United, but Jake saying there that Fulham are slowly getting back into it. Middlesbrough still getting back into it. Sorry, I'm looking at these Fulham goals. George Reece-Julian, he's not a happy man out in Swansea. Elsewhere in the Championship, still 0-0 at Barnsley Stoke and Blackburn Millwall. It's Bournemouth 1, Peterborough 1. We thought that Bournemouth goal might have been ruled out for offside, but it's just my technology not updating the tables. Coventry still 1-0 down to Luton, who move up into 6th place. As we say, we all know the score in Sheffield United Middlesbrough. Was there a chance there, Jake?
Yeah, I think one of the Sheffield United players nearly scored directly from a throw-in. But the keeper had to push it over the bar, so it's now a corner to Sheffield United in the 53rd minute.
So, corner to Sheffield United here. See a player jogging over slowly, taking his time, as you would if you were 2-0 up. You're not going to go sprinting over there now. About 5 minutes till our Champions League games kick off for the second half. We've not heard from Ollie Power at Salisbury versus Tiverton Town. Saj will no doubt be back in contact very, very soon. Maybe even sooner than I think. Adam Tillinger at Fareham Town versus Handball Club. We've not heard any updates from there. Jake, any chance you can get the score for Crewe versus Portsmouth for me? Byron is covering that upstairs. But yeah, that is a League One tie.
The Portsmouth game is 2-0 to Portsmouth still. Hurst opened the scoring in the 3rd minute before Walker scored in the 31st. That puts Portsmouth up to 10th, or it keeps them 10th, 2 points behind Ipswich and just 4 points off the playoffs.
All to play for in League One as it is in the Championship. I can see it here, end-to-end game at Bramall Lane. Are waiting for our Champions League ties to resume. The cricket doesn't sound like it's going too well for England. It's getting better, I think, throughout the day, but Adam seems far more optimistic coming down just now than he did earlier. He was like a dark cloud earlier walking round when I asked him about the cricket. Robert Lewandowski with that 22-minute first half hat-trick to put Bayern Munich, well, they're 4-0 up. 2 of them penalties. The same defender, the same foul, and Lewandowski with 2 simple penalties as well as a tap-in. Tom, any updates in your game for me?
Yes, Asal and Cosgrove have actually been combining nicely for Wimbledon up top, so it seems to be working for them. And Plymouth Company having a opportunity now. Oh, it's a goal! Ryan Broom has scored from midfield. Perfect timing. Ennis played a ball across the box. There was so much space for them, acres of space, and an open goal. And Ryan Cosgrove puts it in the net.
Tom, you sound a bit giddy over there at the thought of that goal. That was Tom with his finest Chris Kamara impression sat across me here in the studio. Was Cosgrove actually bought on at half-time, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't.
Nice.
But no, he had started the game. This is only his 2nd start in the past 10 games, and he's really, really made an impact here in the game. And he did last week as well, getting an assist. So yeah, seems to be he's going to be a starter for Argyle now for the foreseeable future.
And by any chance, do you know what that does for Argyle's league position at all? Obviously, they were pushing for the playoffs, weren't they?
Well, currently now, if they win this game, they'll be joint 4th of Oxford United. They will be behind on goal difference, however, and also in League One, which is quite good for Plymouth, is Sunderland in 8th are losing 1-0 to Fleetwood. So that kind of...
Sunderland have actually just equalised.
Oh, they've just equalised. So I was just about to say their chances of getting to the playoffs are absolutely over, but right now it looks like they're bringing themselves back into it. They are 1 point behind Argyle and have played 2 more games, so will need to do a little extra work. But who scored the goal there for Sunderland, Jake?
I believe it to be, once my phone loads, it was Matt Embleton from midfield.
Right, so we're now going to go live to Swansea with George Rees-Julian. George, do you have an update for me?
Yeah, Swansea have made their 3rd and final sub already. Michael Obafemi's come off for Kyle Joseph, and I think that's a sign that Russell Martin has almost accepted defeat in this game. He's bringing on a youngster. He's letting him get some chance in the first team. Kyle Joseph, a 20-year-old, is going to be busy up front, but I don't think this is a change to try and change the game. I think it's more of just a change to give a youngster a chance.
Okay, thank you for that, George. Jermaine Defoe is on for Sunderland. Kyle not happy with that Sunderland equaliser, being a Newcastle fan. Your game has just started in the second half, I believe.
Yeah, let's hope they don't make the playoffs. That's just me. No, Bayern Munich have just kicked off again against Salzburg. Numerous changes, 2 for the trailing side. They've taken off defender, forgive me for the names here, Solent for Piatkowski and SeaWorld for Sushik. And I believe they're like for likes as both play the same positions as to the player they replaced. And Bayern Munich have taken off goal scorer Serge Gnabry for Bouna Sarr, coming on for a rare appearance for Bayern Munich. So I think they're bringing on another defender for an attacking player. I think they're looking just to see out this fixture now and hopefully see them through the game.
Thank you, Kyle. There's been a 3rd goal for Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Jake, have you got any idea who scored that one?
I actually didn't do this time, which is a surprise. It was Robinson from the back. It was a corner whipped into the back post. Egan headed it back across goal, and it was volleyed in by Robinson straight through the keeper's legs. Arguably, I think he probably should have saved that, but it was quite close range, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's 3-0, and more importantly, Jake knew who scored that one. Watching closely, eagle eyes. So that's 3-0 to Sheffield United against Middlesbrough. That game looks all but sealed, barring a late Middlesbrough comeback. But, I mean, I would be very surprised. Jake is fist pumping because he got the goal scorer right. A very happy Jake next to me. Louis, has your game kicked off again yet?
Yeah, we've just kicked off back here at Anfield. I hope there's more excitement in this second half for your sake, Fraser, so you don't have to keep talking. But at the moment, Liverpool, again, just looking comfortable on the ball. It's only been 30 seconds. But Inter Milan look like they're pressing with a bit more intensity. And they've just nicked it back in midfield. Vidal with the ball over the top, but it's comfortably headed away by Van Dijk. So hopefully more to talk about this half. Remains 0-0.
More to talk about in your game. I don't know whether that's because he doesn't like the sound of my voice or whether he just wants a more exciting game. But either way, both good reasons. Fulham are now 2-0 up at Swansea. No, they already were apparently, but I can't keep track of all of this at the moment. It was an own goal by Cabango. So, yeah, double George misery. But yeah, third and final sub at Swansea. That was 5 minutes ago. Bournemouth, it's flashing up on my screen against Peterborough. Has there been a goal? We wait and see, potentially. But yeah, the other games in the Championship, other than Sheffield United, Middlesbrough have been fairly low on goals. Barnsley and Stoke still 0-0. Blackburn and Millwall still 0-0. And Luton still leading Coventry by a goal to 0. Wigan drawing 1-1 with Sutton United. And Bayern Munich 4-0 up at Salzburg. I am hoping for a few goals in the second half. There has actually been a goal at Sheffield United for Middlesbrough. Our stream is behind, but there has been a goal, so we're going to wait. And you know what? We'll have some live commentary on this goal, Jake.
Will we? Let's play back to the goalkeeper, Fotheringham on the edge of his penalty area. Oh, he slipped. He's fallen down. It's going to be an easy finish for Bolo. Just about. He made it more difficult than it should have been. Absolute mistake from Fotheringham as he fell onto his ass. Onto the floor. And Bolo just rounded the goalie, took it really tight to the byline and rolled it into the back of the net. And that is a lifeline for Middlesbrough, who for the majority of this game have been out of it. Lifeline right there.
I'll tell you who else has been out of it. You, buddy. Apologies to anyone listening to that. He slipped on his bum, on his bottom, whatever you will. Mistake from the goalkeeper there. I'm sure that won't bother Sheffield United too much, but actually squeezing it in from quite a tight angle, and here he is, Drip King himself, Saj Rahman. Oh, sorry, Saj, you're going to have to hold on. There has been a goal in Kyle's game. Kyle, who scored it?
Game all over. 5-0 to Bayern Munich now. Leads them 6-1 on aggregate. Leroy Sané with a cute little pass into Thomas Müller with a smart turn. Finishes it like he has done for his years in his successful career. 5-0 to Bayern Munich. This is some stuff from them.
Game, set and match there at Bayern Munich. Saj is going to give us a quick update. Saj, talk to me.
Yep, Swindon have made their second substitution of the game. So it was Rob Hunt who's come off for Jayden Mitchell-Lawson as Swindon look to try and get back into this game. They've really been coming on strong. The substitution at half-time, Jack Payne has had a couple chances already, which he's blazed over the bar. Nothing quite on target yet as Exeter come forward and the loose touch from the keeper and it's gone out for a corner. But it's called for offside. So, yeah, not a corner here. So no point in sending me here. The game's been stopped. And, yeah, it's still 2-0. But Swindon are coming on strong here, Fraser.
Saj, I've got to say, mate, you're looking so natural up there on that gantry. How's it feeling? Bit surreal for you up there.
It is crazy. I can't lie to you. It is a brilliant feeling being up here. The atmosphere here is honestly electric. I looked it up a few weeks ago, and Exeter actually have won an award for their fans being one of the most lively in the EFL. So you can tell that from this, because honestly they're bouncing up and down here. But I'll tell you what, the Swindon fans that are right next to me are really finding their voice now as their team come forward. It is Ian Dolo driving inside, actually looking for Johnny Williams, but it's cut out by Stubbs. But yeah, Swindon fans are really getting into it. They're feeling hard done by the referee. They're thinking there's some soft decisions going against them, and the fans aren't too pleased as they look to try and push back into the playoff position. They're only 1 point off at the moment, but they've got 2 games in hand, and if they win both of them, this being one, they'll jump into the top 2 in League 2 and the automatic promotion position. So yeah, they're really trying to look for an equaliser, but Exeter holding off strong, and they don't really look like they're going to be breached at the moment.
Thank you, Saj, for that update. There has been a goal at Barnsley. Barnsley have taken the lead against Stoke in the Championship. That has just flashed up. We're going to go for an update now with Louis, see how Liverpool are getting on against Inter Milan. Any change?
The game has opened up quite a bit more here. Alexis Sanchez with another chance, but shock, he was offside for the 3rd time tonight. The cross came in from Çalhanoğlu, and it was headed by Sanchez in a lot of space actually, but he was about a yard offside. Liverpool with a couple chances, and Handanovic is thrown out. Salah, he's hit the post. Mo Salah has just hit the post for Liverpool. It was Liverpool, I was just about to say, Liverpool have had a series of crosses which have just been consecutively cleared by Inter Milan, but that one not very well dealt with by usually the solid Handanovic, who just throws himself at it, and it fell to Salah, who hit the post, and now Inter Milan are trying to catch him on the break, and Dumfries' cross is headed away by Trent Alexander-Arnold. But a bit more excitement here, Fraser, and I hope to speak to you again soon, but it still remains 0-0.
Thank you. So, Mo Salah hitting the post after Handanovic, well, he's normally one of the top goalies in the world, but sounds like a bit of an error there. Bayern Munich 5-0 up and cruising at Salzburg. Tom, any updates at all in your game for me?
Well, firstly, I would like to apologise. It was not Cosgrove who scored the goal. It was, in fact, Ryan Broom. So sorry about that. Shows how much I know about football. Not much has happened since then at all, really. So I'm afraid, Fraser, I'm going to throw it back to you.
I was kind of hoping that you'd do your best Chris Kamara impression for a second time tonight and scream goal then. That doesn't look to be the case, and the game seems to have died down a bit again now. Obviously, in the Champions League games, Liverpool, Inter Milan currently 0-0, but Inter Milan are going to have to make a push at some point if they're going to try and get something from this game. Maybe a substitution, maybe a certain Edin Dzeko could come on. Thoughts on that, Louis?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely need to change something. Sanchez and Martinez have both been okay up front, but not really finding that cutting edge. Somebody like Edin Dzeko, for sure, will spruce this game up a bit. They've also got signing Robin Gosens on the bench, who's a usual wing-back for Atalanta, and they obviously signed him in the winter. So I hope maybe he could come on and put some crosses into Dzeko, but Inter Milan really need to start pushing here.
So, yeah, maybe a double substitution. Maybe Gosens on and Dzeko on. Gosens with the ball in, Dzeko head them in. They need something, they need a change, and they need it now because it's currently 2-0 and Liverpool, as it stands, are going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Shot there by Middlesbrough, but comfortably into the Sheffield United goalkeeper's hands. So the scores remain as they were. Barnsley with their 1-0 lead at Stoke. How does that affect the table? To be honest, not at all, really. Unfortunately, it kind of does. Barnsley, obviously 3 points from safety currently. Obviously, Derby County looking doomed, and Peterborough most definitely looking doomed. They are without a win in their last 5. Derby County's form has slowed. It did look at one point like Wayne Rooney might keep them up. Bit of an interesting subject, fellas. Wayne Rooney for the Man United job. It's been spoken about. what do we think? Louis, I'll start with you.
I think it's a bit early to call that Fraser, I'm afraid. I mean, he's doing an okay job at Derby. Obviously, getting the point deduction was obviously going to be tough for them. If he manages to keep them up, it will be a job well done, a fantastic job from the former Manchester United striker. But I think getting the United job might be a step too far. But you never know. We saw it with Frank Lampard at Chelsea, going back to a former club and excelling in the season. So why not?
Okay, and Kyle, your thoughts? Obviously, Wayne Rooney, who was linked with actually the Everton job as well, apparently turned that down to stay with Derby. But do you think Rooney's ready for a step up in management, maybe?
I think it's a bit early to make that call for Rooney. I think what Man United need is someone with the experience of winning, because they are lacking in that at the moment. And don't get me wrong, I think Wayne Rooney's season with Derby has obviously been hinted, but he has done a good job. You can tell he is going to be a successful manager. Whether the Man United job, though, that is the biggest job he could ask for, which I believe is a bit early for him.
Thank you, Kyle. There has been a third goal at Fulham, and it is for Fulham. It's Bobby Cordova-Reid. We're hoping to speak to George soon, so he can tell us what's happened with that goal. Just headed over the bar there for Sheffield United. Billy Sharp, a chance to make a further impact tonight. So yeah, Fulham 3-0 up and cruising against 10-man Swansea City. Did we really expect anything less from Marco Silva's men after Ryan Manning was sent off just before half time? Jake, talk to me about that chance there.
Yeah, it was a decent enough chance for Billy Sharp. He just didn't really get over the ball, headed it straight over the bar. The game sort of became a bit end to end, really. Middlesbrough got back into it after their gift of a goal, really. But Sheffield United have also had equal amount of chances at the other end as well. So it's very much looks like either team could score at any point, really, as Middlesbrough come forward here, but it's easily cleared away by Sheffield United. All to play for, more or less.
All to play for, more or less. I would argue that Sheffield United look comfortable, 3-1 up, but you never know. Miracles have happened, and yeah, stranger things have happened, and Middlesbrough are going to be looking for a big-time miracle tonight. Obviously, the only goal Sheffield United conceded came from a goalkeeping error. There has been another goal at Swansea, this time for Swansea. We're still waiting for George, unfortunately. It is a bit like buses. You wait for one and then two come at once. I've not heard from him, and now Fulham have scored and Swansea have scored. Let's take a look at who got that goal. Oh, speak of the devil, here he is. George, 2 goals. Talk to me about both of them. First Fulham, then Swansea.
Yeah, the first goal, it was Fulham, and it was once again through Harry Wilson down our right-hand side. The Swansea defence really haven't been able to cope with him, and he crossed it in. Bobby Cordova-Reid off the bench, headed it in. And I was speaking to the guys on the TV, and literally I didn't even see the Swansea goal, but I know it was heard by Joel Piru. A ball from the right came in. He got a slightest touch of it, and he's put it in the back of the net. So Swansea have pulled one back. It's 3-1.
Perfect. Thank you, George. Is it looking like Swansea are going to make any kind of comeback in this game, or do you still think this is Fulham's for the taking?
Possible in football, but Fulham have just scored. Who is that? Number 20. That's Neco Williams, the Welshman's got his first senior club goal, and he's got it against a Welsh side. It was an easy finish, to be honest. He's probably not going to score many easier goals than that. Andy Fisher made the save, but it fell straight back into Neco Williams' path, and he just powered it into the back of the net. It's Fulham 4, Swansea 1.
Thank you, George. So Swansea did pull a goal back, but Fulham, swift reply and cruising, 4-1 up. There looks to be an injury here at Bramall Lane. Jake, can you tell me any more?
Not really. I can't really work out who it is. It's too far away on the screen. I believe it to be Fleck, who went down earlier in the. It can't be Fleck because he's already gone off. But it looks like it's going to be one of Sheffield United's defenders. I'll get back to you when I know more.
Yeah, I mean, if John Fleck's already, if he's gone down and he's already off the pitch, then he's streaking on the pitch. So we're going to go to Louis now.
Yeah, there was just a big chance for Inter Milan there. Lautaro Martinez broke through the lines. He had Denzel Dumfries to play through, but he chose not to and chose to take on the shot himself. But it came off the back trailing leg of Robertson and out for a corner. The closest Inter Milan have got so far. And they're finding a lot more space here, Inter Milan, to try and break the lines. I think a substitute will be made very soon, but it's still 0-0.
Thank you, Louis. So still 0-0 in that game. Kyle, any updates on the Bayern game? Obviously, we know Bayern are cruising, but has there been any more big chances?
No, just Bayern on top again. Lots of changes, though, from both sides. Upamecano replaced Lucas Hernandez. And Chippo Moteng has come on for Kingsley Coman, as well as Roca for Jamal Musiala, and youngster Tanguy Nzanzu for Nicolas Soule. I think Bayern are just treating this as a bit of a training ground routine at the moment, playing all their youngsters as they are cruising towards this quarter-final. Salzburg have made a couple changes. They've brought off goal scorer from the first leg, Adamu, for Kagard, and also impressive youngster Karim. Sorry, there's been a goal at Liverpool, I believe. Do you want to go to them?
I am going to go to them. Thank you for alerting me to that. Louis, talk to me about that goal.
Wow, it is an absolute weldy from Lautaro Martinez. I'm just looking at the replay here. Joel Matip goes to clear it. It's won back by Perisic into Çalhanoğlu. Sanchez plays it 1-2. Martinez hits it first time and it just fires straight into the top right-hand corner, just on the edge of the box. There is no way Alisson was going to get that. From the left-hand side, straight into the right. It goes over him, straight into the top corner. And this game is really, really going to go up now. It is 1-0 Inter Milan, 2-1 to Liverpool in aggregate.
Well. I haven't seen the goal, but you know it's a good goal when you see the faces of everyone in the studio. Wow. I'm seeing it now. I've not even seen the strike. I've just seen a top corner replay. Tell me there's more. Tell me there's one more replay.
I don't know.
Doesn't look like I'm going to get to see it, but by the sounds of things, an absolute screamer from Lautaro Martinez. So Inter well and truly back in that game now. We could see something from Liverpool, maybe a few changes from Liverpool now. They might feel like they've got to do something to avoid Inter Milan getting back into this game. Louis is calling me again. Louis.
And there has been a red card. I think it's for Alexis Sanchez getting his second yellow. I know he got booked in the first half. It is for Sanchez. I'm just waiting for a replay on the tackle. But the Inter Milan players are furious with the referee's decision. Sanchez isn't leaving the field. I'm just in case of VAR. You can see Inzaghi there. He is furious. But the Inter Milan players all crowded around the ref now as he goes over to VAR. I'm just going to have a look at the challenge now. The ball's bouncing. He gets the ball, but the follow-through he does get Fabinho. It's a tough one to call. He slides in. The ball's in the air, but he does get it. But on the follow-through, he comes down quite strongly on Fabinho's ankle. I don't think this one will be overturned. And again, it just spruces the game up even more if it is not overturned. I'll let you know if anything happens.
So the former Arsenal and Barcelona man, Alexis Sanchez, with a second yellow card. It is being reviewed by VAR, but Louis says unlikely to change. Sheffield United nearly going through on goal there, but being cleared away. And now Middlesbrough are breaking away towards goal. And a shot on target, and it's gone just wide. Keeper diving low to his right-hand side. But a good chance there for Middlesbrough to get back into the game. Tom, I'm going to come to you now for an update. Anything at all happened in your game?
Well, unfortunately, nothing. Unfortunately, nothing exciting as Louis. Otherwise, as we know by now, I'd be sounding like Chris Kamara. But there have been 3 substitutes. For Plymouth Argyle, Pan has come on for the first assistant Mayer. And also, Sessegnon has come on for Grant. And as for Wimbledon, Terry Abdlade has become on for Luke McCormick. That's about it going on here. Nothing much entertaining going on. I'll throw it back to you now, Fraser.
Thank you, Tom. Louis is just going to speak to us about that red card. Louis, was it definitely a red card?
Yeah, well, the referee decided not to go to VAR in the end and just get the voice in his ear, and they decided just to stay with the red card. Liverpool making 2 substitutions now. Thiago coming off for Jordan Henderson and Curtis Jones coming off for Naby Keita. Liverpool just looking like they're just going to shore up the game now, but I will let you know if anything happens. 1-0 Inter Milan.
There has been goals in both of our other games, 2 out of our other 3 games, sorry. We'll start with Kyle. There's been a goal at Salzburg versus Bayern. Kyle, who for?
Yeah, the visitors have they got a rare attack and they've punished Bayern Munich. Substitution Kjærgaard, who's just recently come on, has found himself in a good opportunity and finished it superbly past Manuel Neuer. 5-1. Who knows? Maybe a miracle's on the way, but I highly doubt it.
Who knows? 5-1. You're the first person I've heard say that, but stranger things have happened. There has been a 5th goal at Sheffield United and a 4th goal for Sheffield United. So, Jake, tell me more.
It was a brilliant finish from Morgan Gibbs-White. Ball in from the right-hand side from, I believe it to have been, what's he called? Connolly. Not Connolly. Norrington Davis. And beautifully, a little cute back-heeled finish from Gibbs-White into the far corner to go with assist he picked up earlier in the game. It's now 4-1 Sheffield United, and they look like they're coasting to victory here.
Coasting to victory, Sheffield United. Echoing Jake's words, I can see Saj back on my screen. Saj, has there been any more updates in your game?
Fraser, it looks like 3 goals, 3 points, and up into 5th position for Exeter City today. It's Matt Jay with his 12th goal of the season. He's currently 5th in the Golden Boot race for League 2. He's just got his 12th goal. It was lovely interplay between. Oh, but there's a good chance there for Timothy Dieng. The goalkeeper comes out and collects. But as I was saying, there was good interplay from Josh Keys. Sells the defender a brilliant dummy. Plays it into Giovanni Brown down the right-hand side. And Giovanni Brown pulls it back to Matt Jay, who all he has to do is just whip it into the far corner from about the penalty spot. There's 3 goals. The fans next to me, the Swindon fans, have been slowly leaving the stadium here as the big bank behind the goal is now absolutely bouncing, and the goal scorer Giovanni Brown now going off, being replaced by, I believe it is Josh Coley who's coming on from the goal scorer Giovanni Brown. He's scored one and created one, and he's taken 7 goal contributions in his last 6 games, so he's been in brilliant form. And he could even win February Player of the Month of this month. You can still go and vote for him. And the votes close on Friday. But, yeah, Exeter are rampant at the moment.
Cheers, Saj. You'll be getting my vote. 3 goals, 3 points, up to 3rd. Like that from you. We're now going to go live to George Rees-Julian at Swansea. George, do you have an update for me?
Yeah, Fulham have got their 5th goal of this game, and it's Neco Williams once again. I spoke to you earlier about his first goal being a really easy finish, but this one was an absolute spectacular effort. He cushioned it with his chest, and with his right foot, he powered it into the far top corner. That's the cue for the Swansea fans. They've all started to leave the ground. They're not very happy with his performance, and you can't blame them. They've shipped 5 goals, but to be fair to them, it is against the best side in the league.
Thank you, George. So that is 5 for Fulham. Obviously, we know they make habit of scoring 5+ goals. They've done it multiple times this season. Neco Williams getting his 1st and 2nd goals for Fulham here tonight. As George just said there, the Swansea fans are beginning to leave to make the long trip back to, nowhere, Swansea. So could stay to the end of the game, but no one likes to see their side lose 5-1. Louis, you're smiling at me. Are you laughing at my incredible humour, or have you got an update for me?
No, not really many updates here. Just you being you, Fraser. I think Liverpool, they've really just shut down the game here with Henderson and Keita coming on the field. The game's well and truly done. Well, I say well and truly done. I mean, there's only 1 goal in it. But, you know, when Henderson comes on the pitch and just controls the midfield, it's going to be really, really tough for Inter Milan to get back in it now.
Thank you. So, only 1 game on my screen remains 0-0, and that is Blackburn-Millwall. Barnsley currently 1 up at Stoke. A huge 3 points from them if they can hold on in their fight for survival. 3 points would take them just actually 3 points off Reading above them. Blackburn 0, Millwall 0, as I said. Bournemouth 1, Peterborough 1. A strange game that for Bournemouth, who you would expect to comfortably beat bottom of the table Peterborough, but Peterborough holding on for a point, if for nothing but dignity. Luton 1, Coventry 0. That game still seeing Luton hold their place of 6th in the Championship. Sheffield United, as we've said many times, 4-1 up and cruising against Middlesbrough. They've got a free kick here about 35 yards out, where they might look to whip the ball in and add a 5th goal. Speaking of 5 goals, Fulham 5-1 up at Swansea. It's been an easy night for them. 10-man Swansea after Ryan Manning was sent off towards the end of the first half. That free kick there from Sheffield United was headed away. Wigan 1, Sutton United 1. Bayern Munich 5, Salzburg 1. That is 6-2 on aggregate. Kyle, has there been any further chances for either side?
Well, as you say, that Bayern Munich are just on the attack, but it's been intercepted. Salzburg, they've stepped up the level now as Bayern Munich make their way into the box. No, good goalkeeping. Yeah, Salzburg, they've stepped the level up. They're going at Bayern Munich a little bit more, but Bayern Munich, they're not struggling. They're not causing any sort of issue, and I think I can't see many more opportunities coming Salzburg's way, but you never know. Yeah, I'll throw it back to you.
Thank you, Kyle. So, all of our eyes are indeed on the Liverpool-Inter Milan game. After Inter got a goal back, Alexis Sanchez was sent off for a second yellow card. Won't have been in Simone Inzaghi's plans for that to happen. After getting a goal back, they might have looked to have pushed forward and grabbed the equaliser. A slightly cagey game for Jurgen Klopp and his side. Of course, there was that stoppage in the first half due to a medical emergency. You wonder if that did just have a slight knock-on effect on the players at all, Louis, when it stopped starting. If you can give me your take on that.
Yeah, well, before the incident happened, Inter Milan were well on top. But since then, Liverpool, maybe they've got more of the crowd on them. But they've really stepped up their game. Inter Milan are looking poor now. They've just played a pass. Somebody just tried to play a pass back to Handanovic, but it actually went out for a corner. So it's a Liverpool corner at the moment. Inter Milan go for a triple substitute. No Edin Dzeko coming on still, but we're just waiting on this Liverpool corner to happen. But it's still Inter Milan 1, Liverpool 0.
Okay, we're going to go live now to Matt Renton, who is at AFC Tottenham versus Eastleigh. Matt, what's the score and who's looking likely to go through to the next round?
Well, there's only a couple of minutes left of stoppage time here. The score remains the same, and it's still 1-0 to the visitors. Eastleigh in charge here until the dying embers, as everyone's pushing forward for Tottenham for the home side, where goalkeeper wastes a kick there. But, you know, Eastleigh should have had this wrapped up. They've hit the post. They've forced a couple of brilliant saves from Liam Nice there, Tottenham's number 1. But there's a couple of minutes left on the clock as the home side really push for an equaliser, which would force the game to penalties to decide who goes through at the final.
Obviously, you just said there, going through to the final. How big will that be for Eastleigh to make it through to the final if they manage to hold on to this lead?
Huge, because obviously they're trying to make amends for last year. You know, last year they made the final, got beat off Bournemouth, so they want to try and rectify that. Their second chance for them to make amends for last year, so they'll be dead up for it. And there is the full-time whistle here at Tottenham. As you can hear, the Eastleigh fans in good voice as they do progress to another Senior FA Cup final.
Thank you, Matt. So, Eastleigh through to the Hampshire Cup final after beating AFC Tottenham 1-0. That was Matt there with the coverage there. Elsewhere, no change in any of our other games. The Championship it's been an interesting evening in the Championship. There's been a bit of a goal fest in several of our games, actually, with 5 goals at Sheffield United Middlesbrough and 6 goals and a red card at Fulham Swansea. You wonder how that injury might have affected Sheffield United in the first half, with John Fleck, one of their more senior players, going off injured quite early on, but doesn't seem to have halted their progress at all. They don't seem to be struggling much at all. They're finding their feet, and they're up in towards fifth, I do believe, in the Championship table. And yeah, it's looking positive for Sheffield United, who could look to bounce back to the Premier League at the first time of asking after what was a relatively poor start to the season, actually. Fulham cruising, they're going straight back up to the Premier League, as they tend to do, to be fair. And any update? Well, there is an update, actually. Adam Oliver has just walked into the room, our cricket correspondent, and I just love speaking to him. So, Adam, tell me what's happening in the cricket.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, it's close of play now. Bairstow and Wokes have both carried their bats off. Bairstow 109 off 216 deliveries. Wokes has supported Bairstow well. He's on 24 off 51 deliveries. Wickets for 2 for Jason Holder, 2 for Kemar Roach, and 2 for Jaden Seals. On what's been a pretty even day, overall, you'd say that neither team has really got the upper hand, and yeah, should be a good day too, which I'm also covering.
Thank you, Adam, for that update. We're going to go live now to George Rees-Julian. I believe it is full-time there in Swansea. George, is it full-time?
Yeah, the referee's just pulled his full-time whistle. Fulham have extended their lead at the top of the Championship to 14 points with an emphatic 5-1 win at Swansea. It looked set to be a good game for Swansea in the first half. They were really, really good up until that red card for Ryan Manning. And straight from the start of the second half, it was all Fulham. Mitrovic got himself a goal. Then there was an own goal from Ben Cabango. Bobby Reid come off the bench. And then Neco Williams got his first 2 senior club goals. Joel Piroux was able to get one back, but you may be able to hear the boos now as the referees leave the pitch. The Swansea fans are still frustrated at that first half decision to send off Ryan Manning, but I don't think that would have changed anything. Fulham were just way too good in the second half.
Thank you, George. I've got Dave here behind me telling me to tell you to tweet that and see if anybody cares. We're going to go live now to Louis. Salah's just hit the post again, I believe.
Yeah, well, Fraser, I was asking for more excitement at half-time, and this half certainly hasn't disappointed. A cross from Sadio Mane met Mo Salah in aches of space, and I think if it was on his left foot, you might have seen the net bulge, but it was on his right. It went across Handanovic, and it hit the left side of the goal. It's still 1-0 Inter Milan, but still 13 minutes to play. Liverpool trying to catch Inter Milan on the break. Inter Milan trying to throw everything forward they can to make sure they're not knocked out in the round of 16.
Thank you, Louis. There has been an equaliser, a very, very late equaliser at Barnsley. Stoke City with a 95th minute equaliser, Lewis Baker. We're going to go to Kyle now as something's happened in his game. Kyle, talk to me.
Yeah, Bayern Munich fell complacent by conceding that one goal, but they've swiftly replied. Thomas Muller again with his second goal of the game to make it 6-1, 7-2 on aggregate. Game over if it wasn't already done. Leroy Sané picking up another assist. It's brilliant play. It's Barcelona-esque, this. They knock it around in the final third brilliantly. A little 1-2 to Leroy Sané, back into Thomas Muller, who's about 12 yards out, just slots it away with his left foot again. Lovely.
So after such a positive result in their first leg at home, Salzburg drawing 1-1, it's been an absolute capitulation tonight, 6-1 to Bayern Munich. And we're going to go to Tom because it's full-time at Plymouth. Is it, Tom?
Yes, it's ended 2-0 to Plymouth, and it ended quite dramatically actually at home park with Oxford hitting the post. It was the last kick of the game from a corner. The only real opportunity they had in the second half. After the second goal from Argyle, did a really good job of shutting the game down. Oxford didn't really look motivated to try and win the game at all, hence why they're in the relegation battle. And this moves Argyle up to 6th in the league now, so in a playoff spot. But Sunderland have moved above them by 1 point. They're now winning 3-1 against Fleetwood, with Luke O'Neill scoring in the 82nd minute, and also now Jack Clark in the 90th, and that game should be wrapping up soon as well.
Okay, thank you, Tom. We're now going to go live to Saj Rahman. It's full time at Exeter City, is it, Tom? Saj?
Yes, Fraser. It's full time here at St James's Park, where the Big Bank is absolutely bouncing. They scored 3 goals and beat Swindon 3-1 in the end. Right at the death, it was Jack Payne that scored an absolute worldie, I must say. He's swaz-teched it into the top left corner from about 30 yards out. The goalkeeper had no chance. It was just merely a consolation as Exeter be out till full time. It was 3-1. Yeah, I must say Exeter are really, really flying at the moment. Only lost once in their last 11 games now. And the City fans are claiming that their team are going up. And who's to blame them now? It looks like they're in fine fettle and only 3 points off for second place Northampton with 2 games in hand. So, yeah, they really, really could be pushing up here, Praise.
Saj, excellent from you tonight, bouncing around all evening up and there. You should have been warming up with the subs on the touchline, I think. Safe journey home, buddy. Well, here in the Championship, Middlesbrough against Sheffield United. We're into the 95th minute, actually, and it's looking like it's going to be a comfortable victory for Sheffield United, who are pushing into those playoff spots. Elsewhere in the Championship, Barnsley 1, Stoke still 1, and Kyle is waving me. I think there might have been another goal, and if it's Bayern Munich, this is a goal fest.
Yeah, Salzburg need to be careful here because they might be on the wrong end of a Champions League record. It's 7-1 now. Leroy Sané is scored. He's turned from provider to goal scorer. Robert Lewandowski picking up the assist. Just basic football that's just undone Salzburg again. I think all their heads have dropped now, and it's now 7-1. But still 5 minutes to play. Who knows? This could be a even more of a cricket score, shall I say?
Well, if we want to talk cricket scores, we'll get Adam back for one last time. But 7-1 to Bayern Munich, 8-2 on aggregate. Who would have thought that after that 1-1 draw last round? Blackburn Millwall, that's finished 0-0. Bournemouth Peterborough has finished 1-1, a huge point for Peterborough. Not sure it makes too much difference to their survival hopes, but you know, getting a point against second in the league is impressive nonetheless. Barnsley Stoke is now full time. Luton have beaten Coventry 1-0, and they are up to 6th in the Championship now. Luton Town, an impressive display from them, a clean sheet and a goal. Sheffield United, Middlesbrough is still going on here. No, that's it. That's full time. The referee has blown the whistle. Sheffield United 4, Middlesbrough 1. Billy Sharp with an incredible game for his club. And yes, Fulham full time 5-1 against Swansea. Swansea with that red card early in the first half. And Wigan 1, Sutton 1. Obviously, we all know the Bayern Munich score. And Inter Milan are still 1-0 up at Liverpool, but unfortunately 2-1 down on aggregate. Has there been any sort of change in game plan, Louis, or does it look like Liverpool are going to see this one out?
Yeah, not really, Fraze. It looks like Liverpool, surprisingly, it looks like they're the team that are looking to get back into the tie. They're throwing a lot of men forward, and Inter Milan are kind of trying to hold on here to what they've got. I think the only chance Inter Milan have really is catching them on the break. Liverpool, like I said, throwing a lot of men forward, so anything can happen in the last 8 minutes, but it's still Inter Milan 1, Liverpool 0.
So, 8 minutes to play in that game, and it's still Inter Milan 1, Liverpool 0. Obviously, Inter Milan took the lead in this game through an incredible Lautaro Martinez strike, which rifled into the top corner. But unfortunately, they were then reduced to 10 men quite quickly after Alexis Sanchez was sent off for a second yellow card of the night. Alexis Sanchez, don't think he's got much of a record of being sent off, but 2 yellows happens to the best of us. You can't avoid those kind of fouls. Jake, do you mind giving me a quick roundup of some of the other scores in League One?
Yeah, sure. Portsmouth ended up winning 3-1 over Crewe Alexandra. Hurst picked up his second in the game, and Crewe got a really late consolation goal in the 91st minute. Keeps Portsmouth 10th, and still only 4 points off the playoff spots. Ipswich are still going to Ipswich Town. They're still 2-0 up against Lincoln City. MK Dons won 3-1 against Cheltenham Town. Cheltenham again picked up a late consolation goal in that game after a really convincing performance from MK Dons. Sunderland came from behind to beat Fleetwood, and Morecambe are still holding on to that 1-0 lead against Bolton Wanderers. In League 2, Bristol Rovers beat Crawley, and Exeter, obviously we know, won 3-1 over Swindon Town.
Brilliant. So that is the EFL roundup. Obviously, we know Eastleigh are through to the final after a 1-0 win over AFC Tottenham. Getting towards the last 5 minutes of our Champions League games. I'm hoping I'm not going to be evicted from the studio, but it is certainly looking like that could happen at the moment. Louis, keep coming back to you, but any more chances, or does it look like this isn't going to be Inter Milan's day?
It doesn't look like it's going to be Inter Milan's day. Liverpool have got a free kick in a dangerous area here. It's a wide free kick, and with the delivery that Trent Alexander-Arnold produces, any free kick can be dangerous. Van Dijk, Matip already in there to head it, and if they get one here, for sure Inter Milan can't get back. As Trent Alexander whips the ball in, it's actually Mane who won the header, and Bastoni trying to usher it out for a goal kick, but he managed to keep it in play. Inter Milan trying to catch him on the break, but Liverpool just too wise to it. 5 minutes to go. Doesn't look like Inter Milan are going to get back to it. It is Inter Milan 1, Liverpool 0.
We're going to head over to Kyle now for what I believe is full-time. Kyle, is it full-time?
Yeah, all wrapped up. Bayern Munich with a brilliant performance, 7-1 on the night. It's interesting, Robert Lewandowski's now scored 40-plus goals in 7 consecutive seasons, which is just ridiculous if you think about it. Yeah, I must say, though, Salzburg fans are still singing. They're all still there. There's not many of them, but they're loving it. They're loving being there. And, yeah, disappointing for them because they did. I wouldn't say they had a good opportunity. Bayern Munich were always the strong favourites for this fixture, but Salzburg, they've shown signs of consistency in this Champions League this season, and they are a good young strong side. I'm sure we'll see more of them in the future. They give me Ajax. They remind me of Ajax. From a few years back when Ajax went on that miraculous run. Just the way they play football, it's appealing, and I think they shouldn't be too disappointed with this result. Obviously, the scoreline doesn't flatter them. But Bayern Munich are a top side, and they could go a long way in this competition.
Cheers, Carl. We're now going to go live to Coventry, who've just lost 1-0 to Luton. Fellas, can you tell us how that game panned out?
Yeah, as you said, 1-0. Elijah Adebayo's goal was the only real chance of the game. There's one last chance for Coventry at the end, headed wide by the Coventry left back. But apart from that, it looks quite a cagey affair. A couple of yellow cards here and there, but nothing too much to report on. Ends 1-0 to Coventry.
Thank you for that. Looking ahead tomorrow, so Bayern Munich obviously already through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Liverpool looking like they're going to hold on just about against 10-man Inter Milan. Manchester City obviously 5-0 up and cruising against Sporting. They host them at the Etihad in the second leg tomorrow. The big game with all eyes on it tomorrow will be Real Madrid against PSG. Obviously, Neymar, Mbappe, Messi in the Bernabeu. Mbappe could be at the Bernabeu next season if he joins Real Madrid at the end of the season. Real Madrid currently 1-0 down to PSG from a goal from that man, Kylian Mbappe, late in stoppage time in the first leg. And Man United take on Atletico Madrid at Old Trafford. Anthony Elanga with the late equaliser in the first leg. Can United hold on? Can they make it through despite their shaky league form and obviously their 4-1 battering to Manchester City at the weekend? Elsewhere, we've got Ajax against Benfica. That is currently 2-2 heading into the second leg. That will be an interesting game. And then we've got Juventus Villarreal, another very interesting game. That is next week, some of these fixtures. But Juventus Villarreal, that's currently 1-1. And then we've got Chelsea, who are 2-0 up against Lille. Lille could make a comeback, obviously, after winning the French league last season. Extremely impressive. But after losing some of their better players, they don't look to be retaining that form this season. Louis, it must be nearly full time now, so I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah, there's only 1 minute to play here, and Liverpool, surprisingly, are absolutely dominating Inter Milan. They've had more chances in this half. It was Martinez's worldie has been the only chance for Inter Milan, which he took brilliantly, as we know. But it's another corner for Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he steps over it, walking up to it, swings it in. and it's cleared away by Inter Milan. The red card has really killed the game. I don't see a way back for Inter Milan here. With only 1 minute to play, Inter Milan 1, Liverpool 0.
So it looks as though Liverpool are going to hold on and be the second team to progress through to the Champions League quarter-finals tonight. Obviously, Liverpool won the Champions League just 2 seasons ago. So how could they fare in this next round? What if they were to draw Bayern? Liverpool versus Bayern, what a cracker that would be. But with plenty of other teams in the hat, it's going to be a very, very tough Champions League. A very competitive second leg fixtures here, other than the obvious Manchester City being 5-0 up against Sporting. We're just waiting to confirm the result at Anfield as they're in the final minute. 5 minutes added on. Whoa. Dear, dear, dear. Could there be a late shock here from 10-man Inter? Obviously, Alexis Sanchez not on the pitch. I expect he probably, had he stayed on the pitch, would have been subbed off for Edin Dzeko, do you think?
Yeah, possibly. Lautaro Martinez has made way for Joaquin Correa, but maybe Edin Dzeko could have made an appearance tonight if it wasn't for Alexis Sanchez's rash challenges that he's made tonight. To be honest, he was lucky to stay on the pitch from his first tackle. He scraped Thiago's knee with his studs, but the red card has completely killed off the game. Inter Milan were finding success through Martinez and Sanchez, but now have no outlet ball whatsoever.
So, as we approach the end of tonight, we will be back tomorrow. We're getting kicked out of the studio. The uni is closing. Day 2 of our live news night tomorrow. Live again from 7:30. Thank you for listening.